பகவான் நித்யானந்த பரமசிவம் அவர்களின் அருளாசியோடு சித்திரை பெருவிழாவில் கைலாசா மதுரை கமலா பீட சர்வஞ பீடத்திலிருந்து நேரலையில் இப்பொழுது தரிசனம் செய்கின்றோம். இன்றைய தினம் சித்திரை பெருவிழாவின் 9ஆம் நாளான இன்று பகவான் ஸ்ரீ நித்யானந்த பரமசிவம் அவர்களோடு இங்கு கைலாசா மதுரை ஷியாமலா பீட சர்வஞ பீடத்திலிருந்து நேரலையில் இப்பொழுது சித்திரை பெருவிழாவின் 9ஆம் திருநாளான இன்று ஸ்ரீ சோமசுந்தரேஸ்வர பெருமான் அவர்கள் இங்கு எழுந்தருளி எல்லோருக்கும் தரிசனம் தந்த காட்சியை பார்த்தோம். அடுத்ததாக அன்னை தேவி மீனாட்சி அவர்கள் இந்த விமானத்தில் தரிசனம் தரும் காட்சியை இப்பொழுது நேரலையில் பார்க்கின்றோம். இந்த 9ஆம் திருநாள் அன்று அன்னை தேவி மீனாட்சி அவர்கள் திக்விஜயம் செய்து இங்கு மதுரை மாநகரில் திருவீதி உலா வரும் காட்சியை இப்பொழுது நேரலையில் தரிசிக்கின்றோம். ஸ்ரீ சோமசுந்தரேஸ்வர பெருமான் அவர்களுக்கு இங்கு கைலாசா மதுரை ஷியாமலா பீட சர்வஞ பீடத்தில் பகவான் ஸ்ரீ நித்யானந்த பரமசிவம் அவர்களின் அருளாசியுடன் தற்பொழுது முதல் மரியாதையான மண்டகப்படி அருளிய இந்த காட்சியையும் நாம் தரிசனம் செய்தோம். அடுத்ததாக அன்னை தேவி மீனாட்சி அவர்களின் வருகைக்காக இங்கு கைலாசா மதுரையில் காத்திருக்கின்றோம். இந்த 9ஆம் திருநாள் விழா அன்று அருள்மிகு மீனாட்சி அம்மை தடாதகை பிராட்டியாக மதுரம் பதியில் அவதரித்த நன்னாள். இந்த அவதரித்த இந்த தினத்தில் மதுரையை ஆட்சி புரிகையில் மேற்கொண்ட திக் விஜயத்தை குறிக்கும் வரலாற்று நிகழ்வே இந்த 9ஆம் திருநாளாகும். அன்னை தேவி மீனாட்சி அம்மனின் திக் விஜயம் தற்பொழுது அருள்மிகு மீனாட்சி சுந்தரேஸ்வரர் ஆலயத்தில் மிகவும் சிறப்பான முறையில் நடைபெற்றது. இப்பொழுது அங்கு அஷ்டதிக் பாலகர்களையும் எதிர்த்து அன்னை தேவி மீனாட்சி அவர்கள் பெற்ற வெற்றியை குறிக்கும் விதமாக இந்த திக்விஜய திருநாளில் அன்னை தேவி மீனாட்சி செய்த லீலையை குறிக்கும் விதமாக இன்று 9ஆம் திருநாளான சித்திரை பெருவிழாவில் நாம் எல்லோரும் நேரலையில் தரிசிக்கின்றோம். அருள்மிகு மீனாட்சி சுந்தரேஸ்வரர் ஆலயத்திலிருந்து முப்போதும் திருமேனி தீண்டுவார் சிவாச்சாரியார் குலத்தார் இங்கு இந்த சித்திரை பெருவிழாவில் 9ஆம் திருநாளான இன்று அன்னை தேவி மீனாட்சி அவர்களை அலங்கரித்து இந்திர விமானத்தில் வீதி உலா அளித்து வருகின்றனர். இந்த 9ஆம் திருநாள் அன்று அன்னை தேவி மீனாட்சி அம்மை அவர்கள் தடாதை பிராட்டியாக இங்கு மதுரம் பதி அவதரித்த அந்த நன்னாளில் அஷ்டதிக் பாலகர்களையும் எதிர்த்து வெற்றி பெற்ற திருநாள் இன்று திக் விஜயம் என்று அழைக்கப்படும் இந்த உற்சவத்தில் அன்னை மீனாட்சி அம்மை அவர்கள் வெற்றி பெற்ற பிறகு பக்தர்கள் அனைவருக்கும் தரிசனம் தந்திட திருவீதி உலா வருகின்ற காட்சியை இப்பொழுது பார்க்கின்றோம். கைலாசா மதுரை ஷியாமலா பீட சர்வஞ பீடத்தின் 293வது குருமகா சன்னிதானம் பகவான் ஸ்ரீ நித்யானந்த பரமசிவம் அவர்கள் அன்னை தேவி மீனாட்சி அவர்களின் நிஜ அவதாரம். ஐயாயிரம் வருடம் முன்பு அன்னை தேவி மீனாட்சி அவர்கள் உருவாக்கியது கைலாஸ் உன்னத ஷமலாபீட சர்வங்க பீடம். இங்கு அவர்களின் வாரிசாக 293வது குருமகா சன்னிதானம் பகவான் ஸ்ரீ நித்யானந்த பரமசிவம் அவர்களின் அருளாசியோடு இங்கு கைலாசா மதுரையில் இந்த 9ஆம் திருநாளான சித்திரை பெருவிழாவில் திக்விஜயம் செய்துவிட்டு வரும் அன்னை தேவி மீனாட்சி அவர்களுக்கு மண்டகப்படி அருளும் காட்சியை இப்பொழுது பார்க்கின்றோம். அன்னை தேவி மீனாட்சி அவர்களுக்கு மலர் மாலைகள் அணிவித்து வஸ்திரங்கள் சாற்றி அவர்களுக்கு நைவேத்தியங்கள் படைத்து பூஜைகள் நடைபெற இருக்கின்றது. கைலாசா மதுரை ஷியாமலா பீட சர்வஞ பீடத்தில் இப்பொழுது பகவான் ஸ்ரீ நித்யானந்த பரமசிவம் அவர்களின் சந்நியாச சீடர்கள் கைலாசாவின் பிரதிநிதியாக இங்கு அன்னை தேவி மீனாட்சி அவர்களுக்கு மண்டகப்படி அருளும் இந்த காட்சியை இப்பொழுது நேரலையில் தரிசிக்கின்றோம். மலர் மாலைகள் தற்பொழுது அணிவித்து அவர்களுக்கு வஸ்திரங்கள் அணிவிக்கப்படுவதை நேரில் தரிசிக்கின்றோம். நைவேத்தியங்கள் படைக்கப் பெற்று தீபாவளி ஆராதனை நிகழ்கின்றது. அஷ்டதிக் பாலகர்களையும் வென்று வெற்றி வாகை சூடி அன்னை தேவி மீனாட்சி அவர்கள் திக்விஜயம் செய்கின்ற திருநாளே இந்த 9ஆம் திருநாள். இங்கு கைலாசா மதுரை ஷியாமலா பீட சர்வஞ பீடத்தில் அன்னை தேவி மீனாட்சி அவர்களை வரவேற்று அவர்களுக்கு பாரம்பரிய முறையிலான மண்டகப்படி அருளிய காட்சியை பார்க்கின்றோம். அடுத்ததாக ஸ்ரீ சண்டிகேஸ்வர பெருமான் ஆலய திருப்பணியின் நிர்வாகத்தை கவனிக்கும் பொறுப்பை ஏற்றுக்கொண்டவர் அன்னை தேவி மீனாட்சி அவர்களின் ஆணைப்படி இயங்கும் ஸ்ரீ சண்டிகேஸ்வர பெருமான் அவர்கள் இந்த பஞ்சமூர்த்தி புறப்பாட்டில் திருவீதி உலா வருகின்றார். அவருக்கு பாரம்பரிய முறைப்படி மண்டகப்படி அருளும் காட்சியை பார்க்கின்றோம். தற்பொழுது பகவான் ஸ்ரீ நித்யானந்த பரமசிவம் அவர்களுக்கு அருள்மிகு மீனாட்சி சுந்தரேஸ்வரர் ஆலயத்தில் சிவாச்சாரியார்கள் அன்னை தேவி மீனாட்சி அவர்களின் பிரசாதத்தை வழங்கியிருக்கின்றார்கள். தற்பொழுது கைலாஸ் உன்னத ஷியாமலா பீட சர்வஞ பீடத்தின் 293வது குருமகா சன்னிதானம் பகவான் ஸ்ரீ நித்யானந்த பரமசிவம் அவர்களுக்கு அன்னை தேவி மீனாட்சி அவர்களின் அருள் பிரசாதத்தை சமர்ப்பித்து அவர்களுக்கு தீப ஆராதனை செய்ய இருக்கின்றோம். மீனாட்சி சுந்தரேஸ்வரர் ஆலயத்தில் பரமசிவ பரம்பொருளின் ஸ்தூல வடிவமான இந்திர விமானம் தரிசனம் தினந்தோறும் 24 மணி நேரமும் நமக்கு நேரலையில் தருகின்ற கைலாசாவின் தொலைக்காட்சி மூலம் நாம் பார்க்க முடிகின்றது. இங்கு கோபுர தரிசனம் என்பது கோடி புண்ணியம் என்பர் அருள்மிகு மீனாட்சி சுந்தரேஸ்வரர் ஆலயத்தின் கோபுரங்களை நேரிலே தரிசிக்கின்றோம். பரமசிவ பரம்பொருளின் வடிவான இந்திர விமானம் தரிசனம் நமக்கு கிடைக்கப் பெற்றிருக்கின்றது. கோபுர தரிசனம் என்பது கோடி புண்ணியம் என்பது நம்முடைய வேண்டுதல்களை எல்லாம் இங்கு அருள்மிகு மீனாட்சி தேவியிடம் சமர்ப்பிக்கும் பொழுது நம் எல்லா வேண்டுதல்களையும் நிறைவேற்றக்கூடிய சக்தி மீனாட்சிக்கே உண்டு. தற்பொழுது பகவான் ஸ்ரீ நித்யானந்த பரமசிவம் அவர்களுக்கு அன்னை தேவி மீனாட்சி அவர்களின் அருள் பிரசாதத்தை சமர்ப்பித்து தீப ஆராதனை நிகழ்கின்றது. 293வது மகா சன்னிதானம் அவருக்கு இங்கு மதுரையிலே அன்னை மீனாட்சி தேவியை தரிசனம் செய்ய வருகின்ற பக்தர்கள் எல்லோருக்கும் அருள்பாலிக்கவே இங்கு மூர்த்தியின் வடிவாக இருந்து நம் எல்லோருக்கும் தொடர்ந்து தரிசனம் பெறுகின்றார். அவர்களுக்கு தற்பொழுது அன்னை தேவி மீனாட்சியின் அருள் பிரசாதத்தை சமர்ப்பித்து தீப ஆராதனை நிகழ்கின்றது. இதனைத் தொடர்ந்து கைலாசா மதுரை ஷியாமலா பீட சர்வஞ பீடத்தில் குருமகா சன்னிதானம் பகவான் ஸ்ரீ நித்யானந்த பரமசிவன் அவர்கள் பொறுப்பேற்ற அந்த நாளிலிருந்து தொடர்ந்து இங்கு மதுரை மாநகர் வாழ் மக்கள் அனைவருக்கும் எல்லா விதமான சேவைகளையும் தொடர்ந்து செய்து வருகின்றார். இதில் முக்கியமாக அருள்மிகு மீனாட்சி சுந்தரேஸ்வரர் ஆலயத்திற்கு தரிசனம் செய்ய வருகின்ற பக்தர்கள் அனைவருக்குமே ஔஷத அன்னதானத்தை தொடர்ந்து வழங்கி சிறப்பித்துக் கொண்டிருக்கிறார்கள். இந்த ஔஷத அன்னதானத்தின் சிறப்பே உணவே மருந்தே அவர்களுக்கு கிடைக்கப்பெறுவதனால் இந்த அருள் பிரசாதத்தை உட்கொள்கின்ற பக்தர்களுக்கு நீண்ட ஆரோக்கியமான வாழ்க்கை அமைகின்றது. சித்திரை பெருவிழாவில் நேற்றைய தினம் அன்னை தேவி மீனாட்சி அவர்களின் பட்டாபிஷேக பெருவிழாவை நேரடியில் தரிசனம் செய்தோம். அந்த சமயத்தில் பகவான் ஸ்ரீ நித்யானந்த பரமசிவம் அவர்களின் நேரலை தரிசனத்தை கிடைக்கப் பெற்றோம். பகவான் அவர்கள் 2012ஆம் ஆண்டு ஏப்ரல் மாதம் 27ஆம் தேதி வது குருமகா சன்னிதானம் அவர்கள் பகவான் ஸ்ரீ நித்யானந்த பரமசிவம் அவர்களுக்கு 293வது குருமகா சன்னிதானமாக முடிசூட்டினார்கள். அந்த பட்டாபிஷேக விழாவினை குறிக்கும் விதமாக நேற்றைய தினமும் அருள்மிகு மீனாட்சி சுந்தரேஸ்வரர் ஆலயத்தின் மீனாட்சி பட்டாபிஷேகம் நடைபெறும் அந்த தருணத்தில் பகவான் ஸ்ரீ நித்யானந்த பரமசிவம் அவர்களுக்கு பட்டாபிஷேகம் விழா நடைபெற்றது. உலகம் முழுவதும் இருக்கின்ற கைலாசாவின் ஆலயங்களில் சித்திரை பெருவிழா மிகவும் சிறப்பான முறையில் தொடர்ந்து கொண்டாடப்பட்டு வருகின்றது. இந்த சித்திரை பெருவிழாவின் 9ஆம் திருநாளான இன்று அன்னை தேவி மீனாட்சி அவர்களின் விஜயத்தை நேரடியில் தரிசனம் செய்தோம். நாளைய தினமும் மிக உன்னதமான உற்சவ விழா அன்னை தேவி மீனாட்சி அவர்களின் திருக்கல்யாண வைபவம் நடைபெற இருக்கின்றது. இந்த மீனாட்சி திருக்கல்யாணத்தை வைபவத்தையும் கைலாசாவின் தொலைக்காட்சியில் நேரடியில் கண்டு மகிழ உங்கள் அனைவரையும் அன்போடு அழைக்கின்றோம். இந்த 12 நாள் உற்சவங்கள் அனைத்துமே கைலாசாவின் அனைத்து ஆலயங்களிலும் மிகவும் சிறப்பான முறையில் அன்னை தேவி மீனாட்சி அவர்களின் பிரம்மோற்சவம் கொண்டாடப்பட்டு வருகின்றது. இதில் நேற்றைய தினம் அருள்மிகு மீனாட்சி அம்மனின் பட்டாபிஷேக விழா மிகவும் சிறப்பான முறையில் நடைபெற்றது. அந்த தருணத்திலே நம்முடைய கைலாசா லாஸ் ஏஞ்சலிஸ் மற்றும் கைலாசா மலேசியா, கைலாசா சிங்கப்பூர், கைலாசா ஓஹோயோ போன்ற எல்லா ஆலயங்களிலும் மிகவும் சிறப்பான முறையில் தொடர்ந்து நடைபெற்றதை நாம் தரிசனம் செய்கிறோம். அதே போல் நாளைய தினமும் கைலாசாவின் ஆலயங்களில் அன்னை தேவி மீனாட்சி அவர்களுக்கு திருக்கல்யாணம் வைபவம் நடைபெற இருக்கின்றது. உங்கள் அனைவரையும் அன்போடு அழைக்கின்றோம். இதே கைலாசாவின் தொலைக்காட்சியில் நேரலையிலும் நீங்கள் தரிசனம் செய்து அருளாசியை பெற அன்போடு அழைக்கின்றோம். பௌர்ணமி தினத்தன்றும் மிகவும் சிறப்பான கைலாசாவின் மூலமாக தொடர்ந்து நடைபெற்று வரும் இந்த சித்திரை பெருவிழாவில் கள்ளழகர் உற்சவ விழாவும் நடைபெற இருக்கின்றது. அன்றைய தினம் கைலாசாவின் திருவண்ணாமலையிலும் இந்த தொடர்ந்து சித்ரா பௌர்ணமி தினத்தன்று ஔஷத அன்னதானம் நடைபெற இருக்கின்றது. அங்கும் நீங்கள் நேரிலே பகவான் அவர்களிடம் வந்து தரிசனம் பெற்று தீட்சையும் பெற கைலாசா மதுரை, கைலாசா திருவண்ணாமலை ஆகிய இடங்களுக்கு அன்போடு அழைக்கின்றோம். அன்றைய தினம் ஒரு நாள் தியான முகாமா கல்பத்தரு என்ற தியான வகுப்பில் பகவான் நம் அனைவருக்கும் தரிசனம் தந்து சிவ தீட்சையில் முதல் நிலை தீட்சையான சமய தீட்சை வழங்க இருக்கின்றார். அந்த தீட்சையும் பெற உங்கள் அனைவரையும் அன்போடு அழைக்கின்றோம். கைலாஸ் உன்னத ஷமலா பீட சர்வஞ பீடத்தின் 293வது குருமகா சன்னிதானம் அவர்கள் பொறுப்பேற்ற அந்த தினத்திலிருந்து இங்கு மதுரை வாழ் மக்களுக்கு எல்லா விதமான சேவைகளையும் தொடர்ந்து வழங்கிக் கொண்டிருக்கிறார்கள். இந்த சேவையில் மிக முக்கியமானதாக தொடர்ந்து அருள்மிகு மீனாட்சி ஆலயத்திற்கு தரிசனம் செய்ய வருகின்ற பக்தர்கள் அனைவருக்குமே ஔஷத அன்னதானம் வழங்கி கொண்டிருக்கிறார்கள். பகவான் அவர்கள் இதுவரை கைலாயத்தின் மூலமாக 100 கோடி அன்பர்களுக்கு மேல் இந்த ஔஷத அன்னதானத்தை வழங்கி இந்த சேவையை தொடர்ந்து செய்து வருகின்றார். கைலாசாவின் இந்த ஔஷத அன்னதான சேவையை ஐநா சபை, ஐக்கிய நாடுகள் சபையில் அங்கீகரிக்கப்பட்டு உலகிலேயே மிகப்பெரிய அன்னதான சேவை செய்யும் நிறுவனம் என்று அங்கீகரிக்கப்பட்டு பாராட்டுதலையும் பெற்றிருக்கின்றது. பகவான் ஸ்ரீ நித்யானந்த பரமசிவம் அவர்களின் தனி பெரும் கடின உழைப்பினாலே உருவாக்கப்பட்ட கைலாசத்தின் மூலமாக உலக மக்கள் அனைவரும் பயன்பெறும் விதத்தில் எல்லா விதமான சேவைகளையும் தொடர்ந்து வழங்குகின்றார். கைலாசா மதுரையிலிருந்து அருள்மிகு மீனாட்சி சுந்தரேஸ்வரர் ஆலயத்தின் கோபுர தரிசனம், பரமசிவ பரம்பொருளின் வடிவான இந்திர விமான தரிசனமும் தொடர்ந்து நம் எல்லோருக்கும் கிடைக்கும் விதமாக 24 மணி நேரமும் தொடர்ந்து இந்த சேவையை கைலாசா செய்து வருகின்றது. நாம் இருந்த இடத்திலிருந்தே அருள்மிகு மீனாட்சி சுந்தரேஸ்வரர் ஆலய தரிசனம் பெற இந்த கைலாசாவின் மாபெரும் சேவை நம் வாழ்க்கையில் நாம் வேண்டும் வரங்களை எல்லாம் பெற அன்னை தேவி மீனாட்சியிடம் நம்முடைய வேண்டுதல்களை சமர்ப்பிக்க இன்று அருள்மிகு மீனாட்சி சுந்தரேஸ்வரர் ஆலய தரிசனம் நமக்கு கிடைக்கப் பெற்றிருக்கிறது. சித்திரை பெருவிழாவின் மிக முக்கியமான வைபவமான அருள்மிகு மீனாட்சி தேவி அவர்களின் திக் விஜயம் தற்பொழுது நாம் எல்லோரும் நேரலையில் தரிசனம் செய்தோம். அஷ்டதிக்பாலகர்களையும் வென்று வெற்றி வாகை சூடி அன்னை தேவி மீனாட்சி அவர்கள் நம் எல்லோருக்கும் திருவீதி உலா வந்து தரிசனம் தந்தார்கள். நாளைய தினமும் சித்திரை பெருவிழாவின் மிக முக்கியமான வைபவம் அன்னை தேவி மீனாட்சி அவர்களின் திருக்கல்யாண வைபவம் நடைபெற இருக்கின்றது. கைலாசாவின் தொலைக்காட்சியில் நேரலை தரிசனம் நம் பகவான் அவர்களின் தரிசனமும் பெற அனைவரையும் அன்போடு அழைக்கின்றோம்.
Nityanandam. We welcome all the viewers connected from world over through the various social media platforms to this live relay from Kailasa, Madurai, Shamala Pita Sarvajna Pitam, the kingdom of Madurai, with the grace and blessings of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagwan Nityananda Paramashivam, the current and 293rd Guru Mahasannidhanam, the ruling pontiff of the kingdom of Madurai. With his grace and blessings, we bring to you this live relay from Kailasa, Madurai, on this 9th day of the Chittirai Peruvizha Brahmotsavam, happening here in the Meenakshi Somasundareshwara temple in Madurai. The Chittirai Peruvizha Brahmotsavam celebrates the life and glory and message of Devi Meenakshi to the entire cosmos, ruling from this city of Madurai. And today, on this most auspicious 9th day, we celebrate the Digvijayam, which is the valiant victory of Devi Meenakshi over all the 10 cardinal directions and 14 lokas, which are the 14 parallel universes, and bringing all of them under her single rule. She ruled the 56 nations that were prevalent during her period. And today, Bhagwan Somasundareshwara and Devi Meenakshi are gracing us seated in the Indra Vimanam, the temple tower and sanctum offered to Bhagwan Somasundareshwara by Lord Indra as his deep gratitude for removing a Brahmahatya dosha that had possessed him due to one of his own actions. Today at 7 a.m., Bhagwan Somasundareshwara, Devi Meenakshi, as part of the Panchamurti, along with Lord Mahaganapati, Lord Subramanya and Lord Chandikeshwara, stepped out in procession, placing the 4 streets surrounding the temple, the Masi Veedi. And now, once again, they are in procession, seated on the Indra Vimanam, traveling the 4 streets of the Masi Veedi surrounding the temple. And they will be concluding the procession at around 11:30 p.m. in Indian Standard Time. Every day, Kailasa Madurai has been serving the Aushada Annadan to the people of Madurai, food infused with conscious energy, with the blessings of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, being served to the people of Madurai continuously during the Chittirai Peruvizha Brahmotsavam. Soon, you will be watching the Aushada Annadan being served from Kailasa, Madurai. And during today's procession, Bhagwan Sundareshwara and Devi Meenakshi enter the Lala Shri Rangachattiram Tirukkan Mandapam. Look, the hall located at the juncture of the Vadakku Masi Veedi and Kidakku Masi Veedi. At this juncture, this mandapam is located, and it is here that the deity's grace and the Digvijayam is enacted by the temple priests, who are known as the Bhattars here in Madurai. After the enactment of the Digvijayam of Devi Meenakshi, once again the procession resumes. In her Digvijayam, her victory over the entire cosmos, Devi Meenakshi conquers the Ashtadik Balagars, who are the guardian gods of the various cardinal directions, and she brings the 56 nations under her single rule. We have been watching this Chittirai Brahmotsavam from day 1, and today we are on day 9. Every single day, Kailasa Madurai, with the blessings of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, has been serving the Aushada Annadan to the people of Madurai, food that is prepared under the direct blessings and guidance of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, food that is infused with his supreme Satya Sankalpa for the people, that they may partake of the food infused with conscious energy and attain conscious sovereignty in their lives. And this food is prepared and served by initiated disciples of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, who are striving to live a life of living enlightenment. Therefore, all their thought currents are filled with the powerful cognitions from the teachings of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. And it is these thought currents, the powerful truths, that are infused into the food, making the food that is infused with conscious energy, carrying the conscious energy. So whoever consumes this food, this very food will have the quality to raise their consciousness. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagavan Nityananda Paramashiva, as the living manifestation of Paramashiva, delivers continuously his ultimate responsibility of taking care of the devotees' needs, basic needs, humanitarian needs, as well as their ultimate spiritual needs, especially during these festival seasons. This Aushadha Annadan is served not only from Kailasa Madurai, but all Kailasa ecosystems around the world, established by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism during the major temple festivals, where large numbers of people congregate. This Aushadha Annadan is served by the Kailasa ecosystems to the devotees of the Lord, so that their basic needs are taken care of and they are comfortably indulging in the various religious and spiritual practices for which they have gathered. Following her Digvijayam of winning over all the cardinal directions, Devi Meenakshi proceeds to Maha Kailasa itself to conquer Paramashiva, and there she submits to his supremacy, and then follows the divine marriage ceremony of Devi Meenakshi and Bhagavan Sundareshwara, Paramashiva himself. And this we will be witnessing as part of tomorrow's celebrations, the end of this grand Chittirai Peruvizha Brahmotsavam. The civilization of Madurai is the oldest human DNA known so far, and it is the civilization established by Bhagavan Sundareshwara himself eons ago in the prehistoric era. And ever since then, several incarnations have repeatedly revived the civilization and ecosystem. The first known reviver being Devi Meenakshi herself, when she came down with Bhagavan Sundareshwara and ruled from this very city of Madurai. This kingdom of Madurai is known as Kailasa Shamala Pitha Sarvajna Pitham. Kailasa means Unnata means the best of the best. Therefore, Kailasa means the best of the best Kailasas, which is the kingdom of Madurai, as it was established personally by Bhagavan Paramashiva himself. Day one, we witnessed the flag hoisting, and on this day, Bhagavan Sundareshwara, seated under the Kalpa Vriksha, the celestial bone-giving tree, graced us in a grand procession along with Devi Meenakshi, seated on the Simha Vahana, the lion vehicle. And we also witnessed the flag hoisting on day one, when the Rishabha Dvaja, the flag carrying the symbol of the Rishabha, the sacred bull of Paramashiva, was raised. Rishabha symbolizes dharma or righteousness, as well as the individual consciousness. And raising the Rishabha Dvaja symbolizes the raising of the dharma, the righteousness, and raising of the consciousness of the individual soul. This happened on day one of this festival. On day two, we witnessed Bhagavan Somasundareshwara seated on the Bhuta Vahana. Bhutas are his own Ganas, the Shiva Bhutas and Shiva Ganas who reside with him in Kailasa, who are filled in their very depth dimension with him, with the energy of Paramashiva. And on this day too, we witnessed Devi Meenakshi gracing us on the Annavahana, the divine swan vehicle. And on day three, we received the grace of Bhagavan Somasundareshwara seated on the Kailasa Parvatam, Mount Kailash, carried by the demon king Ravana, when he attempted to carry Mount Kailasa itself with Paramashiva and Devi seated on it, blinded by his demonic arrogance. Bhagavan Paramashiva, out of his infinite compassion, simply pressed his own big toe, thus bringing to realization the demon king Ravana, who then surrendered Bhagavan Paramashiva and started singing his glory by creating the divine instrument, the veena, out of his own nerves and singing the Samagana in glory of Bhagavan Paramashiva. And on this day, we witnessed Devi Meenakshi seated on the Kamadevini, the celestial cow, that bestows boons to the whole of humanity and other beings in all the lokas, the boons related to the outer world. On day 4, we witnessed Bhagwan Somasundareshwara and Devi Meenakshi gracing us on the golden palki, the Tangam Palakku, carried by the devotees on their very shoulders. And on day 5, we witnessed Bhagwan Sundareshwara and Devi Meenakshi on the Tanga Ashwavahana, the divine golden horse vehicle. On day 6, we witnessed Bhagwan Somasundareshwara on the Tanga Rishabhavahana, the golden sacred bull vehicle, and Devi Meenakshi on the Velli Rishabhavahana, which is the silver sacred bull vehicle. The Rishabha is the very vehicle of Paramashiva himself. On day 7, we witnessed Bhagwan Somasundareshwara on the Adhikara Nandi vehicle, again his own sacred bull, and Devi Meenakshi we witnessed on the silver Yali vehicle. Every day we have been witnessing Bhagwan Somasundareshwara and Devi Meenakshi gracing us on a different vehicle, and each day of this 13-day festival has its special spiritual significance, delivering us from our multivarious pains, struggles that we experience in life, and raising us to conscious sovereignty. Yesterday, the 8th day, was a highlight celebration of this Chittire Peruvizha Brahmotsavam, which was the very coronation, the Pattabhishekam of Meenakshi. Devi Meenakshi is coronated as the Parabhattarika, the queen of the entire cosmos. And we witnessed the coronation yesterday, and Bhagwan Somasundareshwara and Devi Meenakshi graced us in procession on the silver Simhasan, seated on the silver throne, once again carried by the devotees on their very shoulders. Thus, we have been continuously receiving the grace of Bhagwan Sundareshwara and Devi Meenakshi with the grace and blessings of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagwan Nityananda Paramashiva. As the living manifestation of Paramashiva, he embodies the very energies of Bhagwan Sundareshwara and Devi Meenakshi. Out of his infinite compassion and love for us, the whole of humanity, he makes available all of these celebrations in the major temple towns in Sanatana Hindu Dharma, continuously available to us, where from the comfort of our own homes, we can sit and watch, participate, and soak in the energy, connect ourselves to the space of Paramashiva in his various forms and names across the various temple towns of Sanatana Hindu Dharma. In Madurai, Paramashiva is worshipped as Bhagwan Sundareshwara and Devi Meenakshi. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has time and again traced the history of Madurai and the human civilization that in Madurai, with the blessings and grace of Paramashiva. Over the last 4 decades, through his various global presidential addresses and various meditation programs, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has reached out to us to help us understand this illustrious civilization of Madurai, established by Paramashiva himself, and the need for its revival. The various enlightened civilizations of ancient Bharat that constituted the 56 nations across the planet comprised people who were already either enlightened or they were striving on the path of enlightenment. That was the quality and high frequency of the people who lived in these civilizations. They are now witnessing Kailasa, Madurai, opening its doors for the Aushadha Annadan, the people of Madurai. The devotees of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism are continuously preparing the Aushadha Annadan to make it available for the Madurai people, the devotees of Sundareshwara and Meenakshi. You can see the variety of Aushadha Annadan food that is being prepared and arranged to serve the people of Madurai. This entire Aushadha Annadan effort is personally micromanaged and blessed by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagwan Nityananda Paramashivam. This food, this
Aushadha food is offered first to the Lord, and therefore it is prasada that is being served. In the Hindu tradition, food is always consecrated, sanctified, and then consumed by us. This location of Kailasa, Madurai is spiritually profoundly significant in the very history of Madurai and is directly connected to the very birth of Devi Meenakshi and to the very ruling of Bhagwan Sundareshwara and Devi Meenakshi, the supreme pontiff of Hinduism. As the living manifestation of Paramashiva, time and again reveals to us directly from the cosmic archives, directly from the history of the whole cosmos, cosmic secrets and profound happenings that are not recorded in human history, but available in the cosmos to be harnessed and delivered to humanity. It is only when Paramashiva himself comes down as the various incarnations, these cosmic archives become available to us. We can see the devotees of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism chanting the Guru Mantra, invoking the presence of the Guru, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagwan Nityananda Paramashivam. They have just chanted the Guru Mantra and are about to begin the Aushadha Annadan Seva to the devotees of Madurai. The devotees of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism are blissfully immersed during this entire 13-day festival here in Madurai, soaking themselves in the energy of Bhagwan Sundareshwara and Devi Meenakshi and in the blissful energy of the Seva, service. Service to the devotees of the Lord is the ultimate service, even more than service to the Lord directly. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has demonstrated through his very own life, through the Leelas in his own life, and continues to demonstrate the joy of serving the devotees of the Lord. And this is experienced firsthand by these disciples and devotees of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism who are serving this Aushadha Annadan in high excitement, inspiration and enthusiasm, which they derive directly from the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. They continue to offer this Aushadha Annadan Seva to the people of Madurai. The devotees have started coming in and receiving the Aushadha food. This Kailasa Madurai is in the very breathing space of the Meenakshi Somasundareshwara temple, and therefore so convenient for the devotees to walk in, have their meal, and simply go back to the temple, which is just a few hundred feet away on the Amman Sanidhi street on the eastern side of the temple. This location of Kailasa Madurai, as revealed by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, directly from the cosmic history, it is here that the Putra Kameshti Yajna, performed by Malayadwaja Pandyan and Kanchanamala, happened. Malayadwaja Pandyan and Kanchanamala are the biological parents of Devi Meenakshi. They prayed seeking a child to Paramashiva and performed the Putra Kameshti Yajna, and directly from the very fire of the Putra Kameshti Yajna, Devi Meenakshi emerged as a 3-year-old divine child. The child carried a mysterious third breast on her chest, which caused immediate concern to King Malayadwaja Pandyan, but he was immediately assured by the Lord. The voice of the Lord resounded in an asiriri as the unseen voice, and assured the king that it is a most auspicious birth carried by Devi Meenakshi, which will disappear when she ultimately faces the person who would be her divine consort in her life, thus completely assured by the Lord himself, King Malayadwaja Pandya, relaxed. They named the divine child Tadadagai, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, has revealed how incarnations thus take form using fire as a medium. Before we hear his revelations, we must be aware that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, as the living manifestation of Paramashiva, himself assumed the form from the formless superconscious energy through this very fire element, represented by the Arunachala hill, the hill form of Paramashiva in Tiruvannamalai. In Tiruvannamalai, Paramashiva is present as the fire element embodied by the Arunachala hill. And it is through the Arunachala hill, through the fire element, that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism assumed the human form and landed in his cosmic descent on Tiruvannamalai, his birth town, which houses the Arunachala hill, the very form of Paramashiva. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism reveals there are 5 elements, the elements of earth, water, fire, air, and space. The great divine beings, the enlightened beings, the Jivan Muktas, all of them reside in the space, the Akasha. Devi Meenakshi did not assume the human body in a normal way. She just reduced her frequency from the Akashic layer, the space, and came straight to the physical layer. She used fire as a medium. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism further reveals, if you put the 2 elements of earth and water into fire, it will convert it into air and space. Therefore, fire is a medium. It is a center through which you can go from formless form or from form to formless. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism further reveals, that is why I used Arunachala, the fire element, Paramashiva, to take the form. Fire is a prerequisite for formless to assume the form. Further, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism reveals the significance of Devi Meenakshi emerging out of the fire as a 3-year-old child. He reveals it is at the age of 3 that the Pratyekatma Chaitanya Jagritam is possible, meaning your biomemory and brain are matured enough to feel the individual existence of consciousness. Further, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism reveals that even in his own divine cosmic descent, when he assumed the human body, when he took birth, the body was appearing to be so matured and equivalent to that of a 3-year-old child. And his biological mother, Malupanayaki, shared with him that he weighed 10 pounds during his birth. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has made the energy of this Putra Kameshti Yajna available to his devotees and followers. On the 23rd of October 2017, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism conducted the first groundbreaking Putra Kameshti Yajna, employing Aushadha, sacred energy herbs, to enable couples to conceive divine children carrying the energy of Lord Subramaniam. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism explained that the babies born from this process will carry any one of 3 auspicious birthmarks. They will carry either a clear mole in the shape of the veil, which is Lord Muruga's spear, or they will have an extra finger or extra toe, or they will have a clear dip on their 3rd eye spot between their eyebrows. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism defined these 3 as Lord Subramania's Angalakshana, that means auspicious birthmarks on the body that can be found on these babies. Couples who participated in this revolutionary Putra Kameshti Yajna have recorded their sharings, how miraculously the babies were conceived and the divine attributes that the babies expressed as soon as they were born and continued to express in their lives, making their very bringing up the most delightful and divine experience for them as parents. Aradhakai grew up to be Devi Meenakshi, and she was duly coronated as her father's successor of the kingdom of Madurai. Devi Meenakshi was trained like a prince would be trained. She gained proficiency in all the 64 Hindu arts and emerged as a valorous queen. After her coronation, Devi Meenakshi traveled in all the cardinal directions and conquered the 56 nations of human settlements prevalent at that time, bringing them under her single rule, which is what we are celebrating today in this Chittira Peruvizha Brahmotsavam as the Digvijayam celebrations. Devi Meenakshi traveling to all the 10 cardinal directions and to all the 14 lokas, the 14 worlds or parallel universes. The Bhuloka is planet Earth as we know it, but there are 7 higher and 7 lower lokas. The vertical time zones, Devi Meenakshi traveled to all of them and conquered all of them. We have the Bhuvarloka, Suvarloka, Tapasloka, Vaikunta, Kailasa, and ultimately Mahakailasa. Devi Meenakshi conquered all of these cardinal directions, and she finally enters Kailasa itself, the very abode of Paramashiva. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism reveals that Devi Meenakshi went all the way to Kailasa just with one powerful cognition, which happened in her when she assumed the body, that she is Parashakti, the universal cosmic mother. With just this one powerful cognition, she went through the entire Digvijayam, conquering of the cardinal directions, and went straight to Kailasa. And when she stood face to face with Paramashiva, at that very moment, she realized that her third breast disappeared. And as per the blessing during her birth, when she encounters her divine consort, her third breast will disappear. And Devi Meenakshi wakes up to her identity at that moment, that she is indeed Devi Paramashiva Shakti herself. She is no ordinary queen, but Devi herself. And she submits to the supremacy and the divine love of Bhagavan Paramashiva and expresses her divine proposal to her Lord, who accepts her proposal and commands her to go back to the city of Madurai, and that he will follow suit. He follows her with his grand entourage of the Shivabhutas and Ganas, and the divine marriage ceremony happens in Madurai, celebrated by all the beings in all the worlds, all the 14 lokas. And these celebrations we are going to be witnessing tomorrow as the Meenakshi Tirukkalyanam. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has further revealed from the very life of Devi Meenakshi that her Digvijayam was successful because of the right inner space that she held. Otherwise, with her army, that was not such a large army in practicality, how was she able to conquer all the 10 directions of Indra, Agni, Yama, Nairuti, Varuna, Vayu, Kubera, Ishana, and the 14 lokas of the Bhur, Bhuva, Suva, Mahar, Tapo, Jana, Kailasa, and ultimately Mahakailasa, and the lower lokas of Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatala, Mahatala, Patala. All of this was possible. And even entry into Kailasa was possible because of the powerful right inner space that Devi Meenakshi held. In Kailasa, nobody is trained for fighting because it is the pure space of enlightenment. And Devi Meenakshi enters Kailasa, the pure space of enlightenment itself, by conquering, by victory, because of the huge, powerful inner space that she held. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has further explained, revealed that it is literally like through war she achieved enlightenment. It is not easy to gain entry into Kailasa, but Devi Meenakshi literally demands enlightenment through war. Her inner space was so strong and powerful that even Paramashiva had to bend and say, all right, you will have the experience you wanted. And he comes to Madurai and the divine marriage ceremony happens. he gives Devi Meenakshi his very half as Ardhanarishwara. In the revelations of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, this Kailasa location in Madurai is therefore the very location of the Putra Kameshti Yajna from where Devi Meenakshi herself emerged. And this Kailasa Madurai is also the location from where Bhagwan Somasundareshwara and Devi Meenakshi ruled Madurai and the 56 nations. Their magnificent throne of the Kailasonatha Shamala Pita Sarvagnya Pitam kingdom of Madurai was located right here where Kailasa Madurai is located today. And their throne, as per the revelations of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, is still available beneath the grounds. You are now having the magnificent view of the temple towers of the Meenakshi Somasundareshwara temple. This view is from Kailasa Madurai, the topmost floor of Kailasa Madurai. The exquisite workmanship on these temple towers can be seen. These temple towers have been built over generations of artisans who dedicated their whole lifetime, their entire lifetime, to carving, sculpting these magnificent architectural wonders, knowing fully well that they would not even be alive to see its completion, and yet they gave their whole life to it, uncompromisingly, as can be seen. Every single figurine in this temple tower is exquisitely and intricately carved, with no compromise, with complete integrity and authenticity to the principle, to the ideology that ruled the civilization at that time, with complete integrity to Paramashiva. That was the foremost principle of this entire civilization that existed, that created these architectural wonders. And it is the quality of this civilization, which is known as the ancient Kailasa civilization, that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is reviving today as the civilization of Kailasa. And he has successfully established the only Hindu nation in the world, the nation of Kailasa, through which he is continuing to revive every dimension of this ancient Sanatana Hindu civilization of Kailasa. We can see the people of Madurai coming into Kailasa Madurai to receive their Aushadha meal and continuing in their worship of Devi Meenakshi, celebrating her Digvijayam today. In the revelations of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, if we analyze the very DNA of the people of Madurai, that happened with the grace of Bhagwan Sundareshwara and Devi Meenakshi. Devi Meenakshi's mother, Kanchanamala, is from the Surya Vamsa, the solar lineage that happened from the right eye of Paramashiva. Kanchanamala is the very daughter of the Surangi Samrajya, the Surangi kingdom, ruled by the illustrious Surya Vamsa lineage of incarnations and kings. And it was a tradition to pick the queen from this Surya Vamsa lineage, as it was considered the best DNA. Therefore, Devi Meenakshi, through Kanchanamala, is from the Surya Vamsa, while Devi Meenakshi's father, Malayadwaja Pandyan, is from the Chandra Vamsa, the lunar lineage that was given birth from Paramashiva's own left eye. And Devi Meenakshi, having emerged from the fire of the Putra Kameshti Yajna, is representing also the Agni Vamsa, the lineage of the fire element. Therefore, she is all of the three put together: the Surya Vamsa, Chandra Vamsa, and Agni Vamsa, the best DNAs possible. Therefore, this Pandya civilization constitutes a breakthrough human DNA with a unique combination of the intelligence of the Surya Vamsa and the best of the best qualities of the Chandra Vamsa and Agni Vamsa, combined with the powers of Bhagwan Sundareshwara himself, with his great descendants, the direct descendants, the Shiva Bhutas and Shivaganas. Devi Meenakshi's history and the history of Madurai Adinam is as vast as the ocean, with very little recorded for us to read and understand. Therefore, only from the superconsciousness of Paramashiva himself we can harness the cosmic archives and learn more of the history and heritage of Madurai Adinam, Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagavan Nityananda Paramashiva, as the very living manifestation of Paramashiva, has time and again revealed to us directly from the cosmic history the life, history, and heritage of Madurai, Devi Meenakshi, Bhagavan Sundareshwara, and the great saint Tirujnana Sambandar, the first known incarnation pontiff who ruled Madurai as per the recorded history of Madurai. This Pandya civilization ruled over the entire Sanatana Hindu civilization and brought a huge breakthrough for the quality of human life on the planet during the period of Devi Meenakshi, and it was considered the most ideal and perfect civilization in history. It is this ecosystem that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is reviving today, untiringly, in all of its delightful dimensions and components. It is with great pride, privilege, and high enthusiasm and inspiration that the devotees of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism serve this Aushadha Annadan from this most historic location of Kailasa, Madurai. The civilization during the period of Devi Meenakshi had an order of Ashtasakhi. Devi Meenakshi had her own order of Ashtasakhi, a cabinet of 8 women through whom she ruled the entire civilization. These Ashtasakhis, the 8 energies, were the matriarchs of the civilization. They executed with the highest integrity and authenticity every command of Devi Meenakshi and thus raised the entire civilization. The Ashtasakhis established institutions for the Rudra Kanyas, the young girls and women who were the temple dancers and the temple administrators and who lived a highly chaste life integrated to Paramashiva. They were given specialized training during Meenakshi's reign, and they were brought up like the queen herself and trained in all the 64 arts of the Hindu tradition. During the reign of Devi Meenakshi, Meenakshi's kingdom was known for its most advanced healthcare based on the brilliant Hindu sciences of Siddha and Ayurveda, which, with the Ashtasakhis and the Rudrakanyas trained as doctors, the health care of the entire civilization during Meenakshi's period was made as a high priority, and successfully most deadly diseases were eradicated from the face of the planet during her time, and the very longevity of the people was increased. In the revelations of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism on the period of Devi Meenakshi, 40 of her assistant doctors were enlightened Siddhas, and around 10,000 patients could be accommodated in the hospital that she had built. And people from all the neighboring states were coming to Madurai to have these divine medical services directly under Devi Meenakshi herself. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has declared that he will be reviving and establishing a huge hospital in Madurai as per the medicinal science practices of Kailasa, which were prevalent during Devi Meenakshi's period. And it will be a multi-speciality system for treating various disorders, to performing plastic surgeries, to even extending life for people, and to enable the power of growing even extra arms and limbs and organs as needed. These are all the various conscious possibilities of us as human beings, which have become extinct with degradation of human consciousness. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism stands as the only hope for humanity to touch base back with these extraordinary powers for which we were originally hardwired. All of our conscious possibilities that existed during the times of Devi Meenakshi, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has revealed that the whole science through which Paramashiva himself performed the head transplantation for Lord Ganesha, how he fixed the elephant head on the human body, that very science he will be making available in Madurai through the various hospitals that would be established. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has further revealed that the entire hospital that would be established as per his divine vision will be run by the Rudrakanyas and the Ashtasakis, whom he has brought down with him already onto the planet. Speaking in such cosmic proportions, speaking in the cosmic realms, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has revealed the divine vision for this temple city of Madurai on multiple occasions, and the groundwork for all of this is happening as we speak, as part of the establishing of the Kailasa nation and its associated activities. From time to time, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism reveals what humanity needs to know as the next set of cosmic gifts that would be available to humanity directly from the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, of cosmic proportions, which they will be enabled to start living in their day-to-day living, taking human life back to the Vedic era. Though the Madurai city was already established, Devi Meenakshi personally supervised the reconstruction of the city of Madurai to what it is today. This city became the model for many cities to come. She not only governed but attended to her subjects daily as their own cosmic mother. She provided for each of them not only their physical needs but also the needs of their consciousness, their very soul. She would even go into the city, disguising herself to interact with her subjects and understand their needs better. She attended personally to every single family who was in her rule, and she earned a place in their hearts for generations into the future, even until today. Her people feel her just alive as she was then. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagavan Nityananda Paramashivam, has thus revealed tremendous information from the cosmic archives related to the life and glory and message of Devi Meenakshi and Bhagavan Sundareshwara and the heritage of this temple city of Madurai. Bhagavan Sundareshwara himself came down and established the civilization of Madurai, and several years later came down once again with Devi Meenakshi to revive the very civilization. Direct evidence that Bhagavan Sundareshwara himself came and established the civilization is the most ancient Tamil text available, titled Irayanar Agapurul. Irayanar refers to Bhagavan Paramashiva himself. The extraordinary love of Bhagavan Sundareshwara for the people of Madurai has manifested as countless Leelas, divine plays that he has enacted when he was available in physical form here in the temple of Madurai. And out of these countless Leelas, the great saint Paramjyoti Munivar has recorded 64, hand-picked 64 Leelas and compiled it as what is called the Thiruvilayadal Puranam, available for our reading today. Paramjyoti Munivar is literally the biographer of Bhagavan Sundareshwara and delivering this Thiruvilayadal Puranam of 64 Leelas of Bhagavan Sundareshwara in this temple city of Madurai. His love for the people of Madurai is extraordinary that even after shedding his physical form, Bhagavan Sundareshwara made himself available as the Yellam Valla Siddhar, an enlightened mystic who appeared in Madurai and once again manifested countless powers through countless divine leelas for the people of Madurai, wiping out their sorrows and grievances in their day-to-day life. Therefore, Paramashiva, as Bhagwan Somasundareshwara and as Yellam Vallasiddhar, and until now, as the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagwan Nityananda Paramashivam, he continues to be available in physical form to the people of Madurai, unfailingly answering their calls. The people of Madurai are today joyfully celebrating the Digvijayam celebrations of Devi Meenakshi, establishing herself as the queen of the whole cosmos, as the Parabhattarika, and devotees and followers of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism are availing of the opportunity to continuously shower their heartfelt gifts at the feet of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism during these 3 days, especially of this 13-day festival. Yesterday we had the coronation, today the Digvijayam, and tomorrow the Kalyanam. During these 3 days, the devotees of Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism are continuously showering gifts at his divine feet as their heartfelt gratitude offerings to Paramashiva and Devi Meenakshi through the WhatsApp channel that is available to them, manned by the Kailasa representatives. The WhatsApp channel through which each and every one of you can offer your personal gift to Meenakshi and Somasundareshwara by offering it at the divine feet of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, who is the living manifestation of the energies of Bhagwan Sundareshwara and Devi Meenakshi. You may avail of this lifetime opportunity by contacting the Kailasa representatives at +1 213 808 3021 +1 213 808 3021. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has revealed to help us understand what is meant by the Sarvagnya Peetham. When we say Kailasonnata Shamala Peetha Sarvagnya Peetham, what is the Sarvagnya Peetham originally? Sarvagnya Peetham is like a university where all the traditions, the sampradayas of Hinduism were taught and they flourished once upon a time before the brutal invasions happened. Madurai was a Sarvagnya Peetham. Thiruvannamalai was a Sarvagnya Peetham. And within each Sarvagnya Peetham, all the various Hindu traditions such as Shaivism, Vaishnavism, Shakta worship, all the various traditions were taught by the various incarnations and gurus who were present in that ecosystem. Today, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is the coronated head of several such Sarvagnya Peethams, 21 such ancient Hindu kingdoms that existed, and he's reviving every single one of them back to their pristine glory through reviving the very Guru Parampara that kept this entire tradition of Sanatana Hindu Dharma alive. Each kingdom had its own Guru Parampara, the Adi Guru being Paramashiva himself. And through this Guru Parampara, this whole enlightenment science is kept alive. And this is what the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is referring to as the Kailasa ecosystems. It is the most ancient, enlightened Sanatana Hindu civilization directly from Kailasa, prescribed by Paramashiva through his divine mandate in the Agamas, his scriptural revelations, where he has described in detail how to live an enlightened life, right from the component of lifestyle, the component of yoga, the component of Kriya Pada, which is the entire science of worship, temples, deities, and the component of Jnanapada, which is the entire science of manifesting spiritual powers and living extraordinary, miraculous lives, and imbibing the powerful cognitions from the Upanishad and all the various Hindu scriptures. Shamala Pita Sarvagnya Pitam, this kingdom of Madurai, established by Bhagwan Paramashiva himself and revived by Devi Meenakshi during her period, boasts of an unbroken 4,000-year-old lineage. And the first known guru in this lineage, from the time the recorded history started, is our Guru Mudalvar, the great saint Tirugnyana Sambandar, another great incarnation of Paramashiva. When a lineage is established by Paramashiva himself, the blessed descendants get the title Yogishwara. Therefore, as per this tradition, the descendants of Bhagwan Paramashiva in this glorious kingdom of Madurai carry the title Yogishwara in their name, which can be seen in the most ancient mother document of the Madurai Adinam, one of the most ancient Shaivite mutts of the world today, of this kingdom of Madurai. The kingdom of Madurai. The Kailasonatha Shamala Pita Sarvagnya Pitam was a religious kingdom from its establishment, with Madurai as its capital. It always considered its spiritual head as its political, economical, and cultural head also. In Madurai, the political rule or the Arasachi could never be separated from the economic rule, Porulachi, and neither of these could be separated from the core principles of the land. The Pandyas considered Kamika Agama, the scriptures, the direct revelations from Bhagwan Paramashiva on the science of living an enlightened life. They considered Kamika Agama as their core spiritual guide for the entire kingdom and its people. The entire governing was based only through a thorough understanding of the cosmic principles revealed in the Kamika Agama. Following Saint Tirugnyana Sambandar, in this glorious lineage of ruling in Madurai from recorded history, we have Sri Adi Shankaracharya himself seated as the 117th Guru Mahasannidhanam of this kingdom, as revealed by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. As per the Sthaniga Varalaru of the Kingdom of Madurai, published by the Kamaraj University, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism brings to our attention the 117th Guru Mahasannidhanam, being Sri Adi Shankaracharya, the great incarnation of Paramashiva, who is also known as the Shanmata Stapakacharya, who revived the 6 main streams of worship in Sanatana Hindu Dharma: the worship of Paramashiva, Devi, Mahaganapati, Subramanya, Mahavishnu, and Surya. The next glorious incarnation in this lineage of Madurai is the 203rd Guru Mahasannidhanam, Sri Srikanta Shivacharya. And following him, a host of Guru Mahasannidhanams ruled this kingdom. And the 292nd Guru Mahasannidhanam, Srila Sri Arunagirinada Sri Jnana Sambandesika Paramacharya Swami, recognized the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagwan Nityananda Paramashivam, as none other than the incarnation of Paramashiva, and received a divine mandate directly from Paramashiva and Paramashiva Shakti, and coronated the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism as the 293rd Pontiff of this kingdom of Madurai on the 27th of April 2012. Thus, the current ruling Pontiff of the kingdom of Madurai is Guru Mahasannidhanam, Bhagwan Srila Sri Nityananda Paramashivam, Sri Jnanasambandha Desika Paramacharya Swamigal. In all the Kailasas worldwide, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has brought in the tradition of worshipping his 5 predecessors through their grand photographs placed in the worship altar. Every day, these 5 Guru Mahasannidhanams, the 5 predecessors of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, receive everyday worship, thus worshipping the very Guru Shishya Parampara that has kept this whole science and tradition alive. In his most recent live appearance, just a few days ago, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has once again reiterated and reminded us human beings that it is the Guru Shishya Parampara that has kept this whole enlightenment science alive, and therefore the Guru Shishya Parampara is the sole custodian of everything that we know and learn from Sanatana Hindu Dharma, whether it is all the scriptures to do with the Kriya Pada, which is the science of deities, the science of deity making, and the science of how to connect ourselves with the deities' energies and ultimately achieve enlightenment, or whether it is the Yoga Pada, which is the very science of yoga, which can take us to the divine union with the divine. The union of man and God is achievable through the very science of yoga, or whether it is the Jnana Pada, which holds all the powerful cognitions and teachings from the various scriptures of Sanatana Hindu Dharma, and it is the very science of power manifestation. Spiritual powers manifest when we start harboring powerful cognitions within us, or whether it is the science of Charya Pada, the very lifestyle described by Paramashiva in the Agamas. All of these belong to the Guru Shishya Parampara. The Guru Shishya Parampara is the sole custodian of all of these pure gifts. And it is the Guru Shishya Parampara that gives these gifts to humanity, explaining their profound significance, the truths hidden in them, and helps humanity achieve oneness with Paramashiva through all of these four sciences given to us by Paramashiva himself. In Sanatana Hindu Dharma, it is made very clear that even incarnations need to go through the Gurukul when they assume the human body. That is the profound importance given to the Gurukul to demonstrate to humanity its profound spiritual significance. Even incarnations go through the Gurukul in their lives when they assume the human body. Bhagavan Sri Ramachandra Prabhu, Bhagavan Sri Krishna, all of them went to Gurukul. Even Saint Tirigana Sambandar studied under his own father as his Guru. His father carried him everywhere and educated him. His father, even though Saint Tirigana Sambandar was enlightened at the age of 3, when he was directly fed by Devi Parvati herself, when he directly received in a divine cup the very breast milk of Devi Parvati, his father continued to be his Guru, carrying him everywhere and educating him. When Saint Tirigana Sambandar was 3 years old, at a temple in Sikali, his father left him standing alone and went to take a dip in the temple pond. Suddenly, Tirigana Sambandar starts crying, and Devi Parvati and Paramashiva themselves appear in darshan to him, seated on their glorious Rishabha Vahana, the sacred bull. And Devi Parvati herself feeds Saint Tirigana Sambandar with her own breast milk through a divine cup. This is known as the Jnana Pal, the very milk of enlightenment. In the city of Madurai, the Jnana Pal is profoundly significant, connected to the life of Tirigana Sambandar, who is the first ruling pontiff in recorded history of the city of Madurai. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has given groundbreaking, deeper insights into this historic incident, the life of Saint Tirigana Sambandar. In his revelations, it is at the age of 3 that the child feels the individual identity, the Pratyekatma Chaitanya Jagrat. The brain becomes capable of experiencing individual identity at the age of 3. When Tirigana Sambandar actually started feeling that individual identity may start happening in him, he felt deeply disturbed. He wanted to remain in the cosmic consciousness. Therefore, he strongly cried out and expressed his deep suffocation and uncomfortable, disturbed feeling towards the cosmos itself directly by crying out. His body, his biomemory was already established in enlightenment, which is why the moment he expressed his suffocation to the cosmos had to respond. Because for him, Paramashiva was real. Therefore, Paramashiva had to respond, and cosmos itself appeared in the form of Paramashiva and Devi Parvati. And Devi Parvati herself pours her own essence into him. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism further reveals that this incident symbolizes Devi Parvati, who has received all of the Paramashiva Jnana, the profound knowledge directly from Paramashiva, digests it and extracts the very essence, which is what is fed to Saint Tirujnana Sambandar as the milk of enlightenment. And when cosmos itself pours the essence into him, Tirujnana Sambandar, out of his deep gratitude, ecstasy, and samadhi, expresses his sacred sentiments. When his father emerges from the temple pond, he reveals to his own father the extraordinary incident that had just happened. His sacred sentiments that he expressed in revealing to his father is recorded as the first verse of what is known today as the Devaram. The compilations of such great saints such as Tirujnana Sambandar, Manikavasagar, Tirunavakkarasar, Sundaramurti Nayanar, and several other saints such as Tirumular, all of their compositions comprise what is known as the Tirumurai today. And the very first of the Devaram of this Tirumurai is the sacred sentiments of Tirujnana Sambandar, expressed at the tender age of 3, describing who it was who came and fed him the milk of enlightenment, the Jnana Pala. The verse sung by the great saint Tirujnana Sambandar goes, Todudaya Seviyan Vidayeriyor Tuven Madisudi Kadudaya Sudalai Podi Pusiyan Ullam Kavarkalvan Yeduடைய மலரான் முனை நாட்பணிந்தேத்த அருள் செய்த பீடுடைய பிரமாபுரமேவிய பெம்மானிவனன்றே. This is the first verse sung by the great saint Tirujnana Sambandar when he describes to his father who it was who appeared and directly fed him the breast milk. The translation of this verse goes, the very God wearing the ring in his ears appears on the sacred bull. He has the moon on his forehead. He wears the ash of the burnt bodies in the cremation ground. He is the one, the thief who stole my heart, who appeared and blessed Lord Brahma, who was seated on the lotus when Lord Brahma prayed to him in the past. He appeared to him in the great Piramapuram in Sirgali. Thus the Saint Tirujnana Sambandar describes Paramashiva and Devi Parvati, who appeared to him and who fed him directly the milk of enlightenment. Thus, at the very tender age of 3, Tirujnana Sambandar started singing the glories of Paramashiva. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has further revealed that after Saint Tirujnana Sambandar was fed with the breast milk of Devi Parvati, he literally lived the remaining 13 years of his life, hardly opening his mouth again to consume any solid food. He literally lived as a nirahari, consuming liquids in a minimal fashion whenever required. For once you taste the nectar, the ultimate nectar, which is the breast milk of Devi Parvati, then what else is there to eat or drink? All of your thirst and your ultimate thirst for enlightenment itself is quenched. Thus, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagwan Nityananda Paramashivam, continuously reveals the deeper truths from the life stories of these great incarnations, divine beings, for us to understand and imbibe in our life and awaken ourselves to raise our own frequency to higher and higher conscious existence. Today, during the Digvijayam, when Bhagwan Somasundareshwara and Devi Meenakshi came in the glorious procession, seated on the Indra Vimanam, carried by the devotees. Kailasa Madurai offered the Mandagapadi right outside Kailasa Madurai on the Aman Sanidhi street. Every day, Kailasa Madurai has been offering the Mandagapadi to the Lord and his consort. Mandagapadi is the offering of all the items that are used in worshipping the Lord, starting from the robes that are used to adorn his beautiful deity form and the magnificent flower garlands that are offered to him. And all the items used in his sacred bath, the Abhisheka, such as the rose water, the sandalwood paste, vermilion, the Tirumanjana powder, all of the items, even tender coconut water is used in a sacred Abhisheka. All of these items are offered to the Lord, and items used in his ritualistic worship for offering the dupa, deepa, the incense sticks, the lit lamp, the lit camphor, items such as the incense sticks, the camphor, even the wick and oil. All of these are thought through in detail by the devotees, and it is these items that are offered as Mandagapadi to the Lord. The coconuts, the fruits, the flowers, all of them are offered. Every time the deities step out in procession, it is the tradition of Sanatana Hindu Dharma to offer the Mandagapadi. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has revived this offering of Mandagapadi as part of the mainstream lifestyle for all his followers worldwide, and Kailasa ecosystems worldwide form the model ecosystems, followed by the people in their region who start imbibing the very lifestyle demonstrated by the Kailasa-vasis. Today, in all the Kailasa ecosystems worldwide, when the main deities in the temples of their region come out in procession, the Kailasa-vasis offer the Mandagapadi. It is their sheer joy, for all that we have in our lives is the showering of the divine on us, the abundance that we enjoy in our life. Every single grain of food that is available to us, every single item we touch and use in our life is a direct gift from the cosmos in our life. And Mandagapadi is the opportunity for us to offer back to cosmos from what the cosmos has given us as our heartfelt gratitude. Therefore, this Mandagapadi offering is offered to the Lord every time the Lord comes out in procession on the streets. Today, the Kailasa-vasis in Kailasa Madurai most joyfully offered the Mandagapadi to Bhagwan Sundareshwara and Devi Meenakshi on this most auspicious occasion of Vijayam, celebration of Devi Meenakshi conquering all the 10 cardinal directions and the 14 lokas and establishing herself as the queen of the cosmos. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has revived and is continuing to revive Kailasa ecosystems around the world. It is the ancient and enlightened Sanatana Hindu civilization, the great rishis, saints, and sages who lived at that time. It is they who traveled all over the world and established gurukuls all over the world and established the enlightening ecosystems, the Kailasa ecosystems, all across the planet. And therefore, their very energies are still available and reverberating in various locations around the world where they lived and revived the Gurukula system and guided the people in the Jivan Mukti Kailasa lifestyle. These energies are today recognized by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, and while reviving the ecosystems in those various locations, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism names these very Kailasa ecosystems after the original energy that is still reverberating in that area. Today, we know that from the revelations of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, that California in the United States of America carries the very energy of sage Kapila. Kapilaranya is what is known as modern-day California in this fashion. Each modern-day place as we know it today is nothing but the ecosystem established by a great saint or sage from the ancient Sanatana Hindu civilization of Kailasa that existed all across the planet and which degraded over the years. After years and years of persecution and through various other means, and therefore it is this that is being revived today by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism as the Kailasa enlightened civilization. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has revived the Kailasa ecosystem in San Jose in Madurai and has named it as Kailasa San Jose, carrying the energy of the Shamala Pita Sarvagnya Pitam. Therefore, San Jose has been gifted with a beautiful deity of Devi Meenakshi by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. In Kailasa in San Jose, Devi Meenakshi is worshipped in her most beautiful deity form. And this Chitire Peruvizha Brahmotsavam is being celebrated in San Jose, Kailasa in all its grandeur. Further, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has named the ecosystem that he has revived in San Diego, once again in the United States of America, as Tirualavai, the most ancient name of Madurai. We can see the sacred jasmine flowers of this kingdom of Madurai. The jasmine flowers, which are famous here in the kingdom of Madurai, adorning the hair, the braids of all the women devotees of Madurai who are coming to receive their Aushadha Annadan. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has revealed that during the times of Devi Meenakshi, when integrity and authenticity was at its peak, this very jasmine flower was of the size of a large rose as we know it today. During the time of Devi Meenakshi, the entire civilization and all the other beings existed in their peak potential, in the peak of their integrity and authenticity. During the time of Devi Meenakshi, several Vedic technology-based equipments were available and used by the people. During her time, every home would have a granite stone slab which acted as their traditional television. The people would gather in front of the stone slabs and they would create certain chants. They would raise their very frequency by creating certain sound vibrations. And immediately they would have the darshan of Devi Meenakshi, who would deliver her message to them as her citizens. And they would receive their instructions from her through those stone slabs in their houses. This was the television technology, the traditional television technology of Devi Meenakshi's era, as revealed by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. Such was the conscious frequency of the people who existed. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has further revealed on this technology in his revelations. If you restore your authentic integrity, your authenticity, then every sound that you create will have its due result. It is only when you are out of integrity that the sounds you create neither have effect on you or on others. The great sage Patanjali has said, just by chanting Om, you can be in Samadhi. The great incarnation Ramanujacharya has said, chant Om Namo Narayana just once, and you will reach Vaikuntha, Mahavishnu's abode. Further, in his revelations, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has revealed just the power of your integrity and authenticity can make your sounds into a reality. When you fall out of integrity, it is only then that no sound becomes a reality for you. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism awakens the children of the Nityananda Gurukul as well as the temple priests of the temples of Kailasa worldwide with this profound truth, where through their sheer integrity, the chants that they utter, the sacred chants that they utter during the rituals, be it the Rudra Homa or the Chandi Homa or any of the rituals that they continuously offer, if they increase the frequency of their integrity, then they can witness the very gods and goddesses responding to their chants and coming and blessing them. Time and again, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has reiterated this truth to the Nityananda Gurukul children. And we have witnessed instances where the children of the Nityananda Gurukul perform the powerful Rudra Homa and repeatedly inspired and taught directly by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, when they raise their frequency of integrity and authenticity, immediately in response to the Rudra Homa, we have seen the rains, the skies showering rains on us immediately. And they once again wake up to the truths directly taught to them by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. Only when we raise our frequency, all of the Vedic rituals, which are a mere science, become a reality in our life. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism urges the pujaris of Kailasa to restore, reclaim their integrity and authenticity to such a level that if they merely utter the word prana pratishta and they say, I invoke this energy, simply that energy will manifest. It is the integrity and authenticity that makes the sound vibrations into reality. And it is with this huge frequency of authenticity that during the Vedic era, the Brahmastra, the mighty weapon, became a reality. The Pushpaka Vimana, the Vedic aircraft, became a reality. All of these were powered during the Vedic age with sound vibrations. Sound vibrations uttered from highly integrated individuals. Whereas today, in the modern day, we operate through electricity because over time, with the degradation of consciousness and degradation of living the cosmic principles, the power of integrity and authenticity has also degraded. And it is this that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is now reviving. Today, the television technology that existed during the times of Meenakshi is now being demonstrated by the initiated disciples of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, who are able to project on small granite slabs remote visions and show those very images on the granite slabs to people. Therefore, the traditional television technology during the times of Devi Meenakshi is back in a demonstrable form and will soon be back as a mainstream lifestyle as declared in the vision of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, through his own life, has demonstrated repeatedly the power of integrity and authenticity. We have amazing photographic evidences from the sovereign archives of Kailasa that has been captured way back in the year 2000, when on the 7th of November 2000, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism himself performed the grand Chandi Homa in the famous Rajarajeshwari temple in Tiruvannamalai, his own birthplace. On this occasion, photographs have captured when the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism was offering the Purnahuti, the final offering, Devi Rajarajeshwari, to whom the Chandi Homa was being offered, herself appeared in her most majestic form in the fire. Her entire form in the form of the fire has been captured photographically. She appeared to receive the Havan offering directly from the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Paramashiva himself. It is this miraculous lifestyle of integrity and authenticity that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is reviving today, where just with the sheer power of these tattvas, these cosmic principles, we are able to harness all the higher energies in our life, where we have all the higher energies waiting to respond to us, to appear to us. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has further explained to us how, when we live a life of non-integrity and inauthenticity, then even if we say, I will win 10 times, internally, due to our inauthenticity, we repeat somehow within ourselves that I will lose, because of the destruction of the sound energy that has already been done inside us due to non-integrity and inauthenticity. Then when cosmos comes to respond to our prayers or our declarations, cosmos literally stands in front of us, scratching its head, not knowing what our real instruction is. It does not know what we really want. But when we start integrating ourselves and align our words, thoughts, and deeds, and start living a life of simple integrity and simplicity, then the words we utter start manifesting as reality. Cosmos simply responds and showers. It is this life towards which the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is taking the entire humanity. This very Aushadha Annadan Seva that we're witnessing today, happening in Kailasa, Madurai, is one of the million efforts of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism in aligning the people back to a conscious lifestyle, aligned to the cosmic principles, as this food that is being served is food infused with conscious energy, food infused with the very living enlightenment software, such that when you consistently start consuming this food, then your very consciousness starts moving towards higher frequency, where we move from basic, non-basic emotions of violence, anger that comes in us because of the quality of food that we eat, the poor quality of food, food infused with rajasic qualities, aggressive qualities. When we consume it, then automatically our consciousness tends to take on those flavors. But when we start having this Aushadha food infused with conscious energy that comes to us as a blessing from the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Paramashiva himself, then when we consistently start eating such food, our consciousness slowly transforms. Therefore, through every effort, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is steering us towards living the magical life of Kailasa, where we connect ourselves to all the divine beings and they answer us, they are waiting to respond to us. And we establish ourselves in oneness with Paramashiva and simply manifest whatever we want as reality in our life. Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagwan Nityananda Paramashivam, has repeatedly traced the history and heritage of Madurai. Madurai is profoundly significant in the spiritual sense for humanity at large. It is the first civilization established by Bhagwan Paramashiva and revived by Devi Meenakshi and the glorious incarnations who ruled this kingdom of Madurai. In his revelations, in tracing the history of Madurai, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has revealed on how one of the most recent incarnations, the predecessor of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism in the kingdom of Tiruvannamalai, Bhagwan Ramana Maharishi himself had a conscious death experience, the most profound experience in his life here in Madurai, when he was barely 16 years of age. Bhagwan Ramana Maharishi is the predecessor of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism in the Guru Shishya Parampara of the Kingdom of Tiruvannamalai, the Arunagiri Yogeshwara Arunachala Sampradaya, the Arunachala Sarvajna Pita of Tiruvannamalai, while explaining to us the truth that if your body is in utter sickness, in that space lies a huge possibility for the truth to simply work itself out within you. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, while explaining this profound truth, has revealed to us, if you are in a complete chaos with your body, and at that moment, the truth about death is told to you, then there is every possibility of it becoming an immediate conscious experience in you. And this is exactly what happened in the life of Ramana Bhagavan in Madurai here, where in that one instance, when he was staying in his uncle's house on the southern side, Avani Moolavidi, he was sick with a very high fever. Bhagavan Ramana Maharishi was sick for 2.5 days, and on the third day morning, this profound experience happened. He had a fever that was slowly increasing over 2.5 days, and he entered into a kind of a terrorized child with confused fear that he was unable to communicate his fever to others and that nobody was able to understand. He was simply terrorized within himself. It is like if you do not know about medicine or you are not given knowledge or confidence, then the fever can simply terrorize your inner space. Ramana Bhagavan felt terrorized inside at what was happening. And in that mood, a small suggestion about death came from outside, and it simply manifested as a conscious death experience within him. And of course, after this hugely profound incident in his life, Bhagavan Ramana Maharishi, merely by hearing the mention of the word Arunachala, started walking towards Arunachala, Tiruvannamalai, and henceforth carried forward the mantle from his predecessor, Sri Sheshadri Swamigal. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism recommends his followers who are in Madurai or who visit Madurai to go and have darshan of the very house where Ramana Bhagavan had his conscious death experience. The people of Madurai are celebrating this 9th day in the life of Devi Meenakshi of the Chitrai Peruvizha Brahmotsavam, the Digvijaya celebrations, the celebrations of Devi Meenakshi conquering all the 10 cardinal directions and the 14 lokas, the 14 parallel universes, and establishing herself as the queen of the whole cosmos. It is purely for the sake of humanity that Bhagavan Sundareshwara and Devi Meenakshi descended in human form and ruled the city of Madurai and revived all the cosmic gifts for the people of Madurai and the people of the 56 nations. When the incarnations descend, theirs is a life of extraordinary hard work, purely for the sake of humanity. For the sake of humanity's enlightenment, they go to all possible extremes, taking on unimaginable responsibility of cosmic proportions in utter sacrifice, all for the sake of the people. And today is the celebration of Devi Meenakshi taking on the responsibility for the whole cosmos, bringing all the 56 nations that were prevalent during her time under her very rule, only for the purpose of enlightening the people and reviving the ancient enlightened Sanatana Hindu civilization. Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has time and again described the glories and life of Devi Meenakshi. He has revealed the secrets of how incarnations and enlightened beings function. While revealing on Devi Meenakshi, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has explained that Devi Meenakshi lived demonstrating in her life the truth revealed in the scriptures through these words, Prakrite Kriyamanani Gunaihi Karmani, which means by the very programming of nature, the virtue of natural disposition, knowing that the very nature is programmed in its natural flow by the higher divine energy, and knowing this truth, simply relaxing without creating the thick and pseudo layer of the ego, where we relax into this truth that nature flows under the guidance of the divine energy, and relaxing in this truth and continuing to do what we are doing without developing the creating the thick pseudo layer of our ego, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has revealed with regard to this truth of how, not feeling loaded, not feeling tensed, not feeling the doership, we can continue to do what we are doing. The Supreme Pontiff has clarified that when he delivers this truth, he does not mean the people who don't do anything and are therefore not tensed, but he is referring to continuously being and performing but not being tensed. And this happens by knowing that nature is programmed to flow. Nature is programmed to flow naturally. And the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism reveals as the most appropriate example for this in the Hindu tradition, as per the teachings, the capacity of the fish. The fish hatches its eggs just by looking at it. The fish lays its eggs in a corner, and just by looking at the eggs, it hatches the eggs because the fish knows it is programmed by nature. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has revealed the significance of the name Meenakshi in this context. Meen means fish in Tamil. Meenakshi thus epitomizes the statement where she gives birth to you as Dvija, twice born. She gives birth to you as the awakened consciousness simply by her one look. Meenakshi can simply awaken all the auspicious things in the people just by her look. She carries the very quality of the fish in her eyes, and therefore Meenakshi, her very name. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has revealed on the Indra Vimanam. Today we are celebrating Digvijayam, the victory of Lord Meenakshi. And today we are witnessing Bhagwan Sundareshwara and Devi Meenakshi seated on the Indra Vimanam and coming in their grand session. The Indra Vimanam is the temple tower, and the Garbhagriha, the sanctum, gifted to Bhagwan Sundareshwara by Lord Indra, the Lord of all the gods in Swargaloka. Therefore, the Indra Vimanam, the tower of the Garbhagriha of Sundareshwara in the Meenakshi Somasundareshwara temple is Indra's own personal vehicle, the Indra Vimanam. It is drawn by the Ashtagajas, 8 elephants that surround it. It is on these 8 elephants that now presently the Sundareshwara Sannidhi is located, from where Bhagwan Sundareshwara is living and operating as a live energy. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has described to us the divine Leela of Bhagwan Sundareshwara, through which this Indra Vimanam happened here in the Meenakshi Somasundareshwara temple. It is one of the 64 Leelas, the very first Leela of the Tiruvizha Puranam, describing the countless leelas of Bhagavan Sundareshwara as recorded by the great saint Paramjyoti Munivar. In this leela, Lord Indra is riding on his white elephant Airavata, his divine white elephant, in a grand procession. At that time, the sage Durvasa approaches him and out of his love gives him the prasada of Paramashiva, the sacred flower, the lotus. Lord Indra receives the flower and casually keeps it on Airavata's back, and Airavata simply tosses it out and tramples over the flower. Sage Durvasa, enraged at Paramashiva's prasada being grossly disrespected, casts a curse on Lord Indra, and therefore Lord Indra is possessed by the Brahmahatya dosha, a curse from which he needs to be liberated, and therefore he seeks the guidance of the various gurus. And he is guided to go to the city of Madurai and worship Chokkanada, Sundareshwara, and be delivered from this curse. He thus comes to the city of Madurai. He bathes in the Potramare Kulam, the golden pond, and worships Chokkanada. He performs the worship to the Shivalinga every day, and he receives the grace of Bhagavan Sundareshwara, who delivers him from this curse and also delivers Airavata, the elephant, who is also cursed by sage Durvasa. He delivers Airavata also from the curse. And Lord Indra, out of his deep gratitude of having been delivered from the curse, gifts his own Indra Vimana to Bhagavan Sundareshwara. And it is on this Indra Vimana that we see the Lord and his consort traveling in their royal procession today. And from the top story of Kailasa Madurai, we have a direct view of the Indra Vimana, the supreme pontiff of Hinduism, has revealed to us that this Indra Vimana, which we are able to see from Kailasa Madurai, is one of several divine locations available to us on planet Earth today, which can help bring what is known as the Mano Mauna within us, which is a complete silence, not just verbal silence, but complete mental silence within us. The supreme pontiff of Hinduism, during his revival of the science of Kayakalpa, the science of anti-aging, of keeping the healthy internal and intra-organs, has revealed this technique of Manomauna. As part of this Kayakalpa program, the supreme pontiff of Hinduism has unleashed the secrets of the Nadakala, the principle of sound. In his revelations, if you bring complete mental sound, Manomauna, within you, where it is not just verbal silence, but complete mental silence, where you are just there, and existence is just there, and it is a beautiful music between you and existence. When you start mastering this, then you start mastering the very power of sound, the principle of Nadak Tattva, and you can manifest anything you want with sound. The supreme pontiff of Hinduism has revealed several divine locations on the planet that can help bring the Mano Mauna to you. And these are the sacred river Ganga, where just by resting on the banks of Ganga, the Mano Mauna can build in us. The sacred river Kaveri, the sacred Arunachala hill in Tiruvannamalai, which is Paramashiva himself in hill form, and the Kailasa hill in Tibet. The Kalpa Vriksha, the divine tree, sacred banyan tree in Adi Kailasa, Bengaluru, and the Indra Vimana of Meenakshi Sundareshwara. The supreme pontiff of Hinduism has revealed, if you simply sit on the top of our Shamala Pita Sarvagnya Pitam roof and just watch the Indra Vimana of Sundareshwara and sit in Mano Mauna, you can simply, through that Indra Vimana, reach Kailasa. These are the very words of the supreme pontiff of Hinduism. He further explains the nuances of this technique to help us understand better. He says, if you think the person in front of you does not know something, then you need to convey, you need to talk. But here, all of these are Paramashiva himself in various forms. They know everything before even you think. What kinds of thought currents you will have, they know even before you think. Therefore, there is nothing to think in front of them. Just sit with any of these in any of these locations. If you do not have any of these around you, simply use my Atma Murti. In Mano Mauna, sit with nothing to talk, nothing to share. And then you will start understanding the difference between sound, music, words, and you will understand that the source of all of this is the Nada Kala. And when you start resting in Nada Kala, you will start understanding all types of languages that you do not even know. And you will simply know that you can manifest anything you want just by creating certain sounds. These are the words of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism in revealing the cosmic secrets of Nada Tattva, the principle of sound. Here is a grand opportunity for each one of us. Out of these divine locations revealed by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, we have right here the Indra Vimana of Meenakshi Sundareshwara available to us from Shamalapita Sarvagnya Peetam, Kailasa, Madurai. And of course, we have the Kalpavriksha available to us through 24-hour live relay from Adi Kailasa, Bengaluru. With the grace of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, we have a 24-hour live relay of the Indra Vimana of Meenakshi Sundareshwara temple and the Kalpavriksha of Adi Kailasa. And we have the continuous 24/7 live relay of Arunachala from Tiruvannamalai, Kailasa, Tiruvannamalai. Out of his infinite compassion and love, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism continuously thinks on behalf of humanity and makes available all of these cosmic gifts to us so that we may choose any one of them and through them achieve our enlightenment as per the guidance of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has also touched on Airavata, Lord Indra's white elephant, while explaining the science of conscious possibility to us. The possibilities of our consciousness is beyond even our ability of visualization. In the words of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, let me give you an example. You have seen an elephant with one trunk. You may visualize an elephant, though, with multiple trunks, like the Airavatam, the celestial elephant, which lives in Svargaloka, the vehicle of Indra, who's the head of the Svargaloka. An elephant with one trunk is the reality you see, but an elephant with multiple trunks is the visualization that you can have. But your conscious possibilities are even more than the visualizations you can have. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism finally gives us the ultimate visualization that we can have as human beings, for which we are hardwired for, where we can simply visualize the 25 heads of Mahasadashiva with his 50 hands and 75 eyes, gracing us as Mahasadashiva. And this is how he describes himself in the Agamas, in the scriptures revealed by him. The more and more we expand our visualization to all of these huge possibilities, then our own conscious possibility starts exploding, and we start living a life away from the poor, mediocre life to the ultimate life for which we are hardwired, where we radiate our conscious sovereignty and we live as Paramashiva himself. Thus, this Airavata is a multi-trunk elephant, the celestial elephant of Lord Indra, and resides in Svargaloka. And Airavata is blessed by Paramashiva himself and is restored to Lord Indra in Svargaloka. after having committed the act of disrespecting Paramashiva's prasada through this very first Leela of the 64 Leelas, Paramashiva, Bhagavan Sundareshwara, graces Lord Indra himself in this first Leela and Airavata, his celestial elephant. Every effort of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is in us as human beings, experiencing the oneness with Paramashiva, where we experience Paramashiva is real, he exists, and he responds to us. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has revealed that knowledge in any subject carries the masculine energy, while the experience of that knowledge carries the feminine energy. And we ourselves are born out of the male and female components. If our body is centered only on one gender and rejects the other gender in our system, we will continue to struggle with only experience or with only knowledge, and either way, we will not be complete. The denied other part will continue to harass us. Thus, when we continuously evolve our body and evolve our mind, then we reach a stage where what is known as the dual body happens. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism reveals the power of authenticity is such that when we continuously evolve our body and mind, then the knowledge becomes experience. And this is what is known as the dual body. And this is what is the pictorial depiction of Ardhanarishwara, where the male and female halves are there together. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has further revealed, you can never visualize Krishna without the feminine grace, or Buddha without the feminine grace, or Devi Meenakshi without the masculine strength, or Bhagavan Sundareshwara without the feminine grace. All of them represent the merging of knowledge and experience, of what is known as a dual body. And this is the pictorial representation of Ardhanarishwara, where knowledge and experience become one and the same, where both the components, the male and female components, are expressed without suppression, without denying the possibility of each other. Because the fundamental truth is, we came out of both the energies. Therefore, how can we be just one energy? Thus, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism time and again reveals on the life and glory of Devi Meenakshi, of how she's the embodiment of this dual body, demonstrating to the entire civilization that she ruled across the whole planet and all the 14 worlds of their own conscious possibilities. Devi Meenakshi lived epitomizing the cosmic principles of integrity, authenticity, responsibility, and enriching. The life of Devi Meenakshi and Bhagavan Sundareshwara is a life dedicated to enriching humanity. They came down from Kailasa only for the purpose of enriching and raising humanity. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has revealed on the principle of enriching, the power of enriching. In one of his most recent live appearances, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has revealed the power of enriching is such that when you enrich others with the ultimate knowledge, with the Amrita, then you are also enriched. When you serve nectar, the bit that flows over your hand and simply enters you even through your skin. Spiritual truths are like nectar, Amrita. When you serve, when you share, when you enrich, when you give it to others, Not only others, even the person who's giving is enriched. When you talk about the spiritual truths to others, do not think that only others are benefited. By you listening to you, you are also awakened. Spiritual truths are like nectar, not only to who you serve, but even the person who's serving is benefited. That is why in the tradition they say that when you put your hand in the nectar vessel, even through the skin, the nectar enters into your system. And you and the person to whom you are serving become immortal. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism thus time and again urges us to continuously enrich humanity with all the gifts and truths of Sanatana Hindu Dharma. And for this sole purpose, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is establishing these Kailasa ecosystems all over the world. And today we are seeing the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism continuously enriching the lives of the people of Madurai through serving this Aushadha Annadan, raising their consciousness through the component of food. The revelations of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, the civilization of Madurai is the original enlightened civilization of Kailasa. The word Kailasa itself means the ultimate source. We all came from Kailasa and we all have to reach Kailasa. While we are in this human frame on the planet Earth, if we live, radiate the lifestyle of Kailasa, not only we will be making sure that we will be reaching Kailasa, but even when we are living, we will be living Kailasa. For the purpose of life is not only Videha Mukti, achieving liberation after you leave the body, but it is Jivan Mukti, living enlightenment. Madurai is living enlightenment. These are the words of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, where he has revealed on the spiritual significance of Madurai. Further, in his words, one of the greatest successful experiments of Paramashiva in mapping Kailasa on planet Earth is Madurai, Shamala Pita Sarvagnya Pitam. It is such a great, powerful success. Exactly how in Kailasa, beings are living around Paramashiva. The same food, the same clothes, lifestyle, thought currents, inner space, everything as it is, Paramashiva has mapped onto the planet Earth's physicality, and that civilization is the Madurai civilization, the original Kailasonatha Shamala Pita Sarvagnya Pitam. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has established in Madurai this Kailasa on the Amman Sannidhi street for the people of Madurai to have easy proximity, as it is in the very breathing space of the Meenakshi Somasundareshwara temple. It becomes convenient for the people of Madurai to come into Kailasa and receive all the cosmic gifts, the socio-spiritual gifts available to them directly from the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagwan Nityananda Paramashivam. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, soon after his coronation in the year 2012, reached the city of Madurai with a large gathering of followers and completely immersed himself and his devotees in reviving the ecosystem of Madurai. At that time, he also inaugurated a Kailasa center in Viraganur, a world-famous place in Madurai, where Bhagwan Sundareshwara performed one of his most popular leelas of appearing as a firewood seller to protect the Pandya kingdom. The very place Viraganur, the word Viraga means firewood in Tamil. In this delightful leela of Bhagwan Sundareshwara, which is known as the Viraga Vitra Padalam. There was once a singer by name Hemanatha Bhagavatar, who became arrogant just by his singing talents. He was so talented in singing, nobody could defeat him. He thus became very egoistic and arrogant. And he started going to different kingdoms and conquering those kingdoms in challenge. He challenges anybody who can sing in this country and defeat me, I will surrender all my knowledge and I will be their slave. But if nobody can beat me, then the entire kingdom shall be my slave. In this way, Hemanatha Bhagavatar conquered many kingdoms and cities. And he finally goes to Madurai and challenges the Pandya kingdom itself. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism describes, if he had challenged just the Pandya court, he may not have had any problem. But he challenged the Pandya kingdom, not knowing that it is run by Bhagavan Sundareshwara. And he throws his usual challenge that if somebody sings better than him in the Pandya kingdom, he will simply become the slave of that person. But if nobody sings better than him, then the whole kingdom will become his slave. Now, he has thrown this challenge in the king's court. When someone challenges in the king's court, it is a question of the pride of the country. It is the pride of the very court. Thus, the king simply accepted the challenge. Within hours, all the court poets ran away. The competition was fixed for the next day morning. That very day evening itself, all the poets disappeared because all of them were afraid of Hemanatha Bhagavatar's prowess in music. Finally, the official court poet, Banabhadran, was forced to face Hemanatha Bhagavatar in the challenge. Banabhadran was shaken because he was so sure that he would lose the game, and he shivered to think that the whole kingdom will be serving Hemanatha Bhagavatar, and he felt the whole kingdom will be blaming him for the loss. Banabhadran immediately turned to his beloved Chokkanada, Bhagavan Sundareshwara, and prays, Mahadeva, please protect me. What am I to do? If Hemanatha Bhagavatar wins tomorrow morning, the whole kingdom will be serving him, and the whole kingdom will be blaming me for losing. Bhagavan Sundareshwara, as usual, agreed to protect him and the kingdom. And he said, all right, do not worry, I will do it. And he blesses him. And he assumes the form of a firewood seller and carrying a one-stringed musical instrument called the Ektara, which indigenous tribes used to carry, entertaining themselves and the few people who gather around them. Bhagavan Sundareshwara appeared as a firewood seller. He goes around the Madurai city, barefoot, selling firewood, blessing the whole city of Madurai and the Pandya kingdom. And that night, Mahadeva, Bhagavan Sundareshwara, as the firewood seller, goes and sleeps exactly outside the house of Hemanatha Bhagavatar and gives a demonstration of his music prowess. He, the Lord, who is the ultimate source of music itself, gives a demonstration of his music prowess, where he stops nature just by his will, just by his song, and he moves nature as he wants by his music. Hemanatha Bhagavatar, completely spellbound and wonderstruck by the melodious voice and the music prowess, comes out of his house and asks him who he is and how he learned to sing so beautifully. And then the Lord introduces himself to Hemanatha Bhagavatar as a failed student of Banabhadran, the court poet of the Pandya kingdom. Hemanatha Bhagavatar thinks, if the failed student of Banabhadran himself is so talented, then how will the Guru Banabhadran be? And he was going to face Banabhadran in competition the next day. He decided, better let me disappear from here. Hemanatha Bhagavatar was so sure he would lose the game and visualized himself to be the slave of the people, of the court poet in the Pandya kingdom, and he was so shaken. That night itself, he sends a letter to the Pandya king that he has lost the game, and he runs away overnight. In such delightful ways, the most compassionate Bhagwan Sundareshwara, by his divine place, his divine Leelas, protects the Pandya kingdom and the people of Madurai. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism reveals, while describing these Leelas of Bhagwan Sundareshwara, he reveals a beautiful verse from the Bhagavatam written by Bhagwan Vedavyasa, where he describes the divine benefit of singing the life and glories of the Lord. The verse goes, Tava kathamritam tapta jivanam kavibiriditam kalmashapaham shravanamangalam shrimadatam bhuvigranantiye bhurida janaha. The translation goes, it is so auspicious to listen to your Leelas. It is so sweet to remember your Leelas in the heart. It is so charming to be lost in your glory and the Leelas. Blessed are those who speak, who listen, and who are soaked in your Leelas. Auspicious are those who speak, who listen, and soak in your Leelas. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has time and again recalled the power of Leela Dhyana, which is dwelling upon the life incidents of the great incarnations when Paramashiva himself incarnates, dwelling upon his life incidents. Leela Dhyana is a profound technique in Sanatana Hindu Dharma, where just by listening to the glories of the Lord, one can attain. Leela Dhyana has the power to create a space in us that enables us to repeatedly stand up and face life. In the revelations of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, life is nothing but the ability to stand up again and again and face it. How much ever doubts or depression attacks you, doubts and depression are so powerful, they attack you from all corners. Life is nothing but the strength to stand up during all these attacks. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has repeatedly urged us not to depend just on our intellectual clarity to save us and keep us in the space of completion and take us to the ultimate space, but to add the component of devotion, the component of feeling connection with the higher consciousness, with the higher conscious beings, such as the incarnations, the deities, the divine beings, to create the space of completion in us, so that even if there is a little inauthenticity in us, we will not collapse, but we will have the strength to stand up again and again. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism explains how listening to the life stories of the incarnations can grow this deep feeling of connection in us, the bhakti in us. In his own words, he reveals, Krishna is not a story. Sundareshwara is not a story. Meenakshi is not a story. I can't even say it happened. I can only say it is happening whenever you remember them. It is not a past time, it is present times whenever you remember them. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism further reveals, I tell you, when you create the space where your cognition has the emotional strength also, for example, let us say you need to win in some debate, argument, or some court case. Before going to that location, remember the Leela. Tell the Lord, when you can save your singer devotee in a court case from a biased judge, you can save me because you are not past, you are present. Create that space and go. I tell you, miracles will happen simply like a lifestyle for you. Miracles will become lifestyle for you. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism further reveals on the power of Leela Dhyana. In his words, remembering your own past times creates more incompletions because of your past guilt, fear, and pain that will keep surfacing. But remembering the incarnation's pastimes, their life and their glories creates more and more completion in you, because their life is an embodiment of completion and the higher space. Whether it is Krishna or Buddha, Mahadeva or Meenakshi, even remembering their Leelas creates so much of completion in you. It heals your mamakara, your inner image, what you feel as you inside you. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism further reveals, please understand, the medicine for the mamakara, for your inner image, is Leela Dhyana. Your mamakara tends to be often a pain in your stomach and in your head. Leela Dhyana is the beautiful nectar that will heal your inner image. If you are struggling to get out of your inner image, you should complete yourself with devotion, with the bhakti. Only the bhakti can really make you enrich, and only enriching can make bhakti happen in you. With just a little bit of bhakti, no one needs to pressurize you to enrich others and yourself. Enriching will be just your breathing pattern. Thus, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism reveals on the profound significance of recalling the Leelas of the Lord. And this Chittirai Peruvizha Brahmotsavam here in Madurai is a pure celebration of the divine Leelas of Bhagavan Sundareshwara and Devi Meenakshi when they assumed the human form, came and created the civilization and revived the civilization, lived amongst the people, ruled them, and enacted the various Leelas. Simply recounting these Leelas will take us to the higher consciousness. This Chittirai Peruvizha Brahmotsavam itself is a huge spiritual technique for us to raise our consciousness as we celebrate the various Leelas of Bhagavan Sundareshwara every single day. Every tradition, ritual, technique, meditation, powerful cognition, or truth in Sanatana Hindu Dharma is aimed only at one thing, at raising our consciousness. Thus, whether it is participating in the grand Hindu festivals or practicing the meditation techniques and methodologies of Hinduism, or studying the great powerful truths, powerful cognitions, and imbibing them as part of our life and lifestyle, all of these gifts from Sanatana Hindu Dharma are only to raise our consciousness. And the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagavan Nityananda Paramashivam, as the living manifestation of Paramashiva, as the ultimate source of all that Sanatana Hindu Dharma offers us, untiringly makes available these countless methodologies from Sanatana Hindu Dharma available to us, for us to soak ourselves in it and continuously remain on the path of living enlightenment, continuously raise our consciousness and raise above our mundane struggles and live a life in a high frequency and live a miracle life, radiating the powers of Paramashiva, living a divine life. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism time and again repeats to us, I am not here to prove I am God. I am here to prove you are God. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is here only to awaken the Paramashivatva in us, the space of Paramashiva in us, so that we can manifest Shivoham, I am Shiva, in us and live a life of power manifestation by manifesting all the spiritual powers of Paramashiva. We are having the view of the glorious temple towers of the Meenakshi Amman temple, the Indra Vimana of Lord Sundareshwara is visible. Today, Bhagavan Sundareshwara and Devi Meenakshi are gracing us on the Indra Vimana, celebrating the Digvijayam of Devi Meenakshi, the conquering of Devi Meenakshi of all the cardinal directions and the 14 lokas. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism reaches out to humanity at large in multivarious ways through such celebrations, connecting us to such celebrations through these continuous live relays, through his various global presidential addresses, relayed to the whole of humanity through the technology of the internet today, and through various meditation workshops. Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is currently offering the Paramashivoham program, the 21-day intense awakening program designed personally by him. Available to the global diaspora over the technology of the internet. This 21-day Paramashivoham program unleashes to humanity the science of the 64 superconscious mutation manifestations of Paramashiva. Each action of Paramashiva in giving enlightenment to a specific devotee is one superconscious mutation manifestation where he appears as one Hindu god as we know it. When Paramashiva, superconscious manifested to remove the arrogance of Lord Brahma, it is then that he is worshipped as Lord Kalabhairava. When Paramashiva did the superconscious mutation manifestation to remove the arrogance of Daksha Prajapati, that specific superconscious mutation manifestation form of Paramashiva is worshipped as Lord Veerabhadra. In this fashion, each superconscious mutation manifestation of Paramashiva, which happened to give enlightenment to a devotee, form the 64 superconscious mutation manifestations as Lord Kalabhairava, as Lord Mahaganapati, as Yana Sundaramurti, as Lord Gangadhara, as Lord Mahaganapati, as Lord Somaskanda. During this Paramashivoham program, we are introduced to all of these 64 superconscious mutation manifestations of Paramashiva. And each day is independently designed to give us a breakthrough in our very consciousness, thus enabling us to participate in this program either in its 21-day entirety or on any day that is convenient for us. We may log in independently every day and attend this program or enroll for the entire program. The link to enroll in this program is ecitizen.info/PSM. The link to enroll ourselves in this program is ecitizen.info/PSM. During this 21-day Paramashivoham program, which happens as advanced and basic levels, as 3 levels, each day, a specific superconscious mutation manifestation energies of Paramashiva are introduced to us, and various powerful cognitions, truths directly from the teachings of Bhagavan Nityananda Paramashivam, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, are delivered to us to give us the conscious breakthrough. And at the end of each day, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism appears in darshan and graces us, manifesting, radiating the very energies of the superconscious mutation manifestations for that day. Therefore, each day, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism appears in live darshan, radiating the various energies as Mahakala Bhairava, as Lord Veerabhadra, as Mahaganapati, as Lord Gangadhara. He appears and manifests those very divine energies for us. For us to soak ourselves in these divine energies and receive the Diksha or initiation directly from the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. During the darshan, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism every single day gives us these Dikshas directly. Diksha or initiation is the very core and hallmark of Sanatana Hindu Dharma, where the great living incarnations come as the Guru and give us this initiation, reprogramming our very bio memory, awakening the very non-mechanical parts of our brain, and giving us the superconscious breakthrough directly. Along with the powerful cognitions that they give us, through the Diksha, they transmit the experience directly to us. Each day of this Paramashivoham program brings to us multiple Dikshas, direct initiations from the very living manifestation of Paramashiva, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. It is an opportunity of not just this lifetime, but of multiple lifetimes that we have with us today. That we are born in human form, and we have amidst us the living manifestation of Paramashiva in the form of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, and he is available using the most modern technology, where from the very comfort of our own homes, we can receive this Diksha initiation every single day for 21 days. And not just one Diksha a day, but multiple Dikshas every day. It is too good to be true, but true. Members of the global diaspora, beyond all differences of caste, creed, religion, gender, come flocking to attend this Paramashivoham program and directly receive the Diksha initiation from the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, and are continuing to experience hugely transformed lives, seeing miracles happening in their lives manifesting as wealth, health, extraordinary career, and achievements beyond their conceivable imagination, where the mundane high achiever that we know of today's modern world is but a speck in front of what can be achieved through the direct initiation, Diksha, powerful cognitions directly from the living manifestation of Paramashiva. The great rishis of the ancient Kailasa, our ancestors in Sanatana Hindu Dharma, are the ones who demonstrated lives of this quality, of extraordinary genius that cannot even be compared with what we know today in the modern world as high achievement. Their achievements are there as living evidences today for the entire global diaspora. It is their achievements that are inscribed in palm leaves and are still being referenced by modern day scientists, be it in the field of astrology or astronomy, any field under the sun. It is their contributions that stand unparalleled. And all this was possible because they lived conscious lives in the space of oneness with Paramashiva. And from that space of oneness, they started manifesting the powers of Sarvajñatva, the all-knowingness, where by your sheer consciousness, like a laser beam, you direct your consciousness on a particular subject, and the subject simply reveals itself to you in the space of oneness with Paramashiva. It is this technology that the ancestral rishis lived and employed and delivered their great inventions and discoveries through it, which is why their inventions and discoveries remain unparalleled today. And today's scientists bow down to them and turn the pages of their inventions and discoveries to grasp their revelations and deliver to the rest of the modern humanity today. And it is this enlightening lifestyle that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is reviving today as the Kailasa lifestyle. In every possible dimension, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is infusing consciousness into our lives, whether it is through the clothes that we wear, or the jewelry that we adorn, or the food that we eat. All the components that make up of our lifestyle contributes to our conscious growth, which is why the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is today urging his worldwide followers to continuously make the Aushadha Annadan available to the global diaspora, because through the component of food, which is a major input to a human being today, becomes conscious food. And just through the food component, the consciousness of the people is nurtured. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has delivered his vision to his people who assume responsibility for Kailasa's Nityananda Annalaya worldwide. He has said, the people living in the region surrounding the Kailasa ecosystems worldwide must find no need to light their home kitchen fire. They should know that the Kailasa ecosystem simply will serve food to them, not just ordinary food for a hungry stomach, but Aushadha food to nourish their very souls, their very consciousness. The vision statement of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is Annam Brahmeti na Vyajanat, which means food is God. This is the vision statement of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. And the mission statement related to food is Annam Bahu Kurvit, which means it has revived the culture of sharing food all over the world. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism urges his devotees and followers to start growing organic food. All the farmlands belonging to Kailasa worldwide have organic agriculture happening in them. The sannyasis perform the organic agriculture in all of the farmlands of Kailasa, and the produce from these farmlands is fed into this Aushadha Annadan, being served to the people of their respective regions. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism continuously encourages and inspires his devotees and followers to indulge in organic agriculture of any proportion, either as small home gardens or as vertical gardens or as huge farmlands, along with maintaining goshalas, the cow shelters, where the sacred cow is taken care of and the various produce from the cow is used in conjunction with the organic agriculture to serve humanity in various ways, primarily through this Aushadha Annadan, food infused with conscious energy. Despite the continued persecution and onslaught of attack on him, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has never forsaken the people of Madurai, has never let down the promises and vision for the people of Madurai. The services of the Kailasonata Shamalapita Sarvagnapitam Kailasa Madurai continues till date, as we are directly witnessing it. Madurai serves the population of 13 million people as the spiritual embassy of Kailasa, upholding the rights and decrees given to us by Paramashiva himself through the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagwan Nityananda Paramashivam. It is the grand saga of history from Paramashiva himself, carried through history, through the Pandya civilization, and continuing today through Kailasa, under the direct auspices of the living manifestation of Paramashiva, Bhagwan Nityananda Paramashivam. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagwan Nityananda Paramashivam, has declared his vision for the city of Madurai. He has revealed that the enlightenment science of Kailasa will be revived in Madurai, and from Madurai it will be given to the whole world. The lifestyle of enlightenment, yoga, worship, dress method, food, jewelry, art, dance, music, all home sciences, medicine and healing sciences, education, transportation, water supply, all forms of administration, the very justice system, economy and currency system of Kailasa. All of this will be revived in Madurai. Everything will be revived as it existed during the divine reign of Devi Meenakshi and Bhagwan Sundareshwara. Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism continuously integrates into our lifestyle various items from the Vedic tradition. A special gift from the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is the Kanta Rudraksha Mala that is to be worn closely around our neck, such that the single Rudraksha touches our very throat chakra, our very throat. Its significance is as follows. Paramashiva gives a commitment in the Agamas that whoever is wearing this Kanta Rudraksha, even when you leave the body, the Lord of Death, Lord Yama, will not come near you. Instead, the Shiva Ganas, the Shivadutas, the messengers of Lord Shiva, will come and receive you and take you to Kailasa. The Yamadutas, the messengers of Lord Yama, will not be able to come near you. The Shiva Ganas are the eternal living beings of immortality in Kailasa with Paramashiva. As the living manifestation of Paramashiva, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism gifts this Kanta Rudraksha Mala to his followers through the Samaya Diksha and Vishesha Diksha initiations, thus reinforcing the commitment of Paramashiva. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism energizes this Kanta Rudraksha Mala with a sacred chant, a mantra. And when we wear this Kanta Rudraksha closely around our neck, the chant simply happens inside our throat and enters our very muscle memory and continuously keeps us in the space of Paramashiva, Shivoham. The Rudraksha itself is originally nothing but the bliss tears of Mahadeva, Paramashiva, when he opened his eyes from a deep Nirvikalpa Samadhi. And the first Rudraksha was given to Nandi Devar by Paramashiva, his own sacred bull. Today, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has made Rudraksha part of the mainstream lifestyle of his people, his worldwide followers, who are experiencing the power of Rudraksha in their day-to-day life. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism delivers not only cosmic secrets, but also delightful details pertaining to the lifestyle of Madurai, its history during the times of Devi Meenakshi and Bhagwan Veshwara. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has revealed in one instance a certain jewel in the treasury of the Madurai Adinam, etched with the sacred words Namah Shivaya. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism reveals that this is done so that when you wear these earrings in your ears, every time the earrings move, Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, repeated in your very ears. Such are the delightful ways in which our ancestors have devised such delightful ways of keeping us in the space of Shivoham, in keeping us centered on the God consciousness. This is the glory and greatness of the Sanatana Hindu Dharma, the tradition, completely sourced and guided by Paramashiva himself. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has further revealed how in the more recent times, Kripananda Varyar, as we know him, the great Tamil scholar and great orator and devotee of Lord Muruga, Lord Subramanya, used to have Rudraksha pierced in his very underarms. And when he gave his profound spiritual discourses, the devotees could see the Rudraksha pierced in his very underarms. And during his golden childhood in Tiruvannamalai, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism once approached Kripananda Varyar and inquired about why he was wearing the Rudraksha in his underarms. And Kripananda Varyar beautifully responded that every time he moved his arms, when the Rudraksha pierces him, he would just remember Muruga. He was a great devotee of Lord Muruga. Such are the delightful ways of infusing consciousness into everything that we do, that we touch, use, eat, and live 24 hours as per Sanatana Hindu Dharma. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism works untiringly to revive the Charya Pada, the very lifestyle prescribed by Paramashiva for each one of us. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, has gifted to the whole of humanity an extraordinary spiritual routine that is to be followed every day as soon as we wake up, thus dedicating the first 5 hours in the day purely for the growth of our own consciousness. Because it is only from our consciousness that anything can stem in life and manifest as something profound. It's only from our conscious sovereignty that we can manifest the reality that we want. Therefore, the first 5 hours of each day, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism dedicates to our own conscious growth, where his devotees, disciples, sannyasis world over wake up during the auspicious Brahma Muhurta, which is 1.5 hours before sunrise. Sunrise is considered as 6 a.m. for all practical purposes. Therefore, 4:30 is the Brahma Muhurta, which is the time of the day most conducive for conscious growth, as prescribed by our ancestral rishis. Therefore, the devotees and disciples of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism wake up during Brahma Muhurta every day, and they go through the traditional Panchakriya, the 5 methods of traditional cleansing processes of the body, after which they engage in a rigorous yoga performance, what is known as the Pratama Vinyasa Krama, a pure gift from the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, a sequence of 108 yogic postures. And this they perform as a ritual. Therefore, they commence this yoga performance by chanting the Sankalpa mantra, where they take the conscious resolution of building a yogic body through the practice of the Pratama Vinyasa Krama. And they even do the Achamanam with the Panchapatram, water, as yoga is considered a ritual as in Sanatana Hindu Dharma. Therefore, they do the traditional cleansing of the mouth with Achamanam and the various body parts with the Achamanam, and then chant the Sankalpa mantra with the conscious resolution to build a yogic body that will manifest the powers of Paramashiva, and only then start the everyday yoga, performing the Pratama Vinyasa Krama, a 108 sequence of yogic posture, purely designed by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism to awaken our Kundalini Shakti and prepare our body to radiate the powers of Paramashiva. The original intention of yoga, as prescribed by Paramashiva, is spiritual power manifestation. That is the purpose of the science of yoga. After the yoga, the devotees and disciples, as part of their morning spiritual routine, engage in puja to the Guru Puja, and puja to Paramashiva by offering puja to the divine feet, the sacred lotus feet of the Guru, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. And following it is the Paramashiva puja offered to the Atma Linga, gifted to each one of them by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, through the Samaya Diksha, which is the first level initiation in Adi Shaivism, where the spiritual aspirant is initiated into the connection with Paramashiva, the space of Shivoham, the space of Paramashiva is awakened in him. During the Samaya Diksha initiation, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism gifts each one of them with the Atmalinga, a pure crystal, Spatika Linga, which can be worn around the neck. All of the initiated disciples and followers of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism wear this Atmalinga around their neck, so that this linga is continuously touching their body and keeping them in the high consciousness. This beautiful Spatika Linga, the Atma Linga, has etched on it the Shri Yantra or the Shri Chakra, and it embodies the energy of Paramashiva, Paramashiva Shakti, and the Guru. And to this Atma Linga, the initiated disciples and devotees offer the Paramashiva Puja every single day. And following the Guru Puja and Shiva Puja as part of their morning spiritual routine, the disciples and devotees listen to the global presidential address of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, imbibing the powerful cognitions from Sanatana Hindu Dharma, imbibing the cosmic principles and internalizing them and internalizing them, analyzing them in various ways through the Vagyartha Sadas, the Jivartha Sadas, which are healthy Vedic style debates that are highly recommended by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, where the truths are chewed upon through these healthy debates and further deeply internalized. And after listening to the powerful cognitions for the day, the devotees and disciples set out on their various enriching activities, raising the lives of people and attending to their other personal agenda. Thus, the first 5 hours of each day, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has dedicated for the pure growth of the consciousness of the individual, because it is only from our consciousness, from our conscious sovereignty, that anything we want in our life can manifest in its peak potential. Thus, the Charya Pada, the lifestyle section of the Agamas, the direct revelations of Paramashiva, his own teachings, is continuously reached out to humanity by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagwan Nityananda Paramashivam. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism trains his disciples and children of the Nityananda Gurukul to sit for long hours and perform the rituals of the Kriya Pada, that section of the Agamas, which teaches us the science of worship, the science of deities, the science of performing the rituals and connecting ourselves with the divine beings of the vertical time zones. The deities, the Hindu gods, are nothing but the divine beings of the vertical time zones, the various lokas, higher time zones, parallel universes. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism gives this technique of performing rituals for long hours as the most effective methodology to get rid of our deep tiredness and boredom. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has time and again warned humanity that in future, the worst disease that possesses humanity will not even be depression, but it will be tiredness and boredom. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has given the technique of sitting and performing the grand rituals for 8 to 9 hours at a stretch as one of the best techniques to rid ourselves of our tiredness and boredom. And this, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has demonstrated through his own life. As he has demonstrated, all of his teachings, whether Yoga Pada, the Jnana Pada, or the Charya Pada, more than any of these sections of the Agamas, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has demonstrated the Kriya Pada right from day one in his golden childhood days in Tiruvannamalai, where his entire life has been dedicated to the science of worship, the science of temples, reviving the science of deities. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism literally lived, grew up during the first 15 years of his life inside the Arunachaleshwara temple in Tiruvannamalai. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism practically lived inside the Arunachaleshwara temple the first 15 years of his life, demonstrating to the world that the science of temples, deities, worship of Sanatana Hindu Dharma is the best possible lifestyle. The temple-centric lifestyle is the best possible lifestyle, which keeps us centered on consciousness, which keeps us connected to the divine, to the higher consciousness. And this is the ancient Kailasa lifestyle, where people lived. The earliest human settlements happened just around the temple. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism beautifully describes to us, Tiruvannamalai is nothing but human settlement around Arunagiri Yogeshwara, the presiding deity of Arunachala. Madurai is nothing but a human settlement around the Meenakshi Sumasundareshwara temple. Kashi or Varanasi is nothing but human settlement around Mahadeva himself. Thus, The temple-centric lifestyle is how the earlier Kailasa ecosystems in ancient times happened. And it is from the temple bell that even the time of the day would be known to the people who never possessed clocks in each house. They lived just by hearing the temple bell, deciding what they should be doing in their personal lives according to it. And as we come to the conclusions of today's celebrations of this grand Chittirai Peruvizha Brahmotsavam, celebrating the 9th day of this festival, which commemorates Devi Meenakshi's Digvijayam, her conquering of all the 10 cardinal directions and the 14 lokas of vertical time zones. Let us remind ourselves once again of this darshan we are having now, and soak ourselves in this darshan of the Indra Vimana of Bhagavan Sundareshwara, which is one of the divine locations prescribed by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagavan Nityananda Paramashivam, to experience the Mano Mauna, the Mana Unmana, the deep mental silence within us. Tomorrow, we will be witnessing the grand Tirukkalyanam, the Meenakshi Tirukkalyanam of Devi Meenakshi and Bhagavan Sundareshwara. We invite each and every one of you to tune in live to Kailasa's Meenakshi Tirukkalyanam celebrations and receive the blessings of Bhagavan Sundareshwara and Devi Meenakshi. With the infinite grace and blessings and love of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism for us, humanity at large, every single day, this live relay is being given to us as a pure gift from Kailasa, Madurai, connecting us to the energies of Bhagavan Sundareshwara and Devi Meenakshi. With minimum effort from our side, our consciousness is continuously nurtured by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism in these various infinite ways. The minimum we can do is connect ourselves. Available to us is the technology of the internet today, which is being used in its most optimum level by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism to reach to us where we are. These powerful tools and aids of Sanatana Hindu Dharma, which will continuously raise our consciousness. Therefore, the minimum we can do is to connect ourselves with it and experience the awakening of the space of Paramashiva inside each one of us. The space of Paramashivoham, I am Paramashiva. And start living powerfully like Paramashiva, radiating all the spiritual powers and living once again like the great Rishi civilization, the Kailasa civilization that once upon a time existed across the entire planet. We now come to the conclusion of today's celebrations of the Chittirai Peruvizha Brahmotsavam, Day 9. The Aushadha Annadan has been served to the people of Madurai as part of today's celebrations. The Mandagapadi has been offered to the Lord and his consort as part of today's celebrations. As we conclude today's celebrations with the Purna Mantra. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om शांति 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 हरि ओम तत्सत् सर्वं भगवत् श्री नित्यानंद परमशिव पादुकार्पणमस्तु ओम नित्यानंदम थैंक यू नित्यानंदम